hands together.
That's a good way to start the show. Tim is rubbing his hands together, and it's up to you, the viewer, to figure out why he's rubbing his hands together.
All shall be revealed, dear viewer. All shall be revealed.
Good morning. It is morning, although I think when the both of us went to bed most previously, it was also this in the morning.
Yes. I was up past the witching hour, Maximilian.
I was, and then I wasn't. Then I woke up to drive home, and the official time, I think, for me is 2:30.
I think, like, now that I'm seeing myself, I think you can see it in my eyes that even though I've been up since about like 7:30, I'm still kind of dragging on very, very, because I didn't fall asleep till like 2.
Are you outside wearing sunglasses?
No, it's just
You've got the ring of, it looks like you've been in the sun.
Well, so I do get like red here from rosacea, so it kind of gives me a little bit of the raccoon eyes.
Gotcha. Okay. I have started to get like this under eye puff. It looks like I got punched.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of like because your dad has that and your grandfather had that. I think that's just like genetics.
I'm getting old, Tim. That's the.
We are getting old.
You're getting old. I'm getting better.
We'll have to recreate. You sent me that picture of us when we were like 13 or 12 shooting baskets outside of Brian Else's house. We'll have to try to recreate that. I'll have to grow the mullet out. I'll have to find a pair of like shorts that I think Dave made in home ec that I was wearing. Some high tops.
If I remember, you were the blue shorts, but I think you might have been wearing the Daryl Strawberry big head shirt.
Yeah, like the caricature.
Yeah,
strawberry shirt.
While that certainly will not fit you, I can guarantee you the homemade Clyde Drexler jersey.
That jersey was like made out of a tablecloth or something.
It didn't fit me back then. It was like super tight. So I will break multiple municipal and state laws by wearing that in public.
Yeah, you're going to get charged with public indecency.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of being charged, and I don't know about public indecency, but the big news today, I guess, in Soup and Meatballs land, at least for you and me, the NCAA announced on Friday the penalties that would be related to the University of Michigan's football team and Connor Stallions and sign stealing and all this stuff. And from all the accounts that I've read online from The Athletic and Sports Illustrated, the biggest thing that I can deduce is that Ohio State has graduated a lot of people that go on to work for Sports Illustrated and The Athletic. Because you'd think, from what I've read, it's like the media feels they've been wronged. And the penalty that came down, which is, I don't know what it is, honestly. I've read anywhere between $20 and $30 million now. By the time this is all said and done, it'll be $600 million, but whatever. But no games vacated, no championship banners taken down, and maybe quite the biggest thing for the team now is no postseason ban and no scholarship reduction. This also feels like it's like a 5-year investigation the NCAA has done. As a fellow Wolverine fan, what are your thoughts on this, Tim?
This feels ceremonial. It feels a lot like Deflategate, where I feel like fans who aren't knowledgeable see this as a capital S scandal, when this is like going 45 and a 35 in my mind. In the grand corrupt landscape of college football, and the sanctimony coming out of Columbus as if they run a squeaky clean program. But also, if you would have asked me in 2023, if Michigan had to pay $20 million for a national title, would you take that deal? I'd be like, not coming out of my pocket. Yes, sir.
That's half a home game.
Right? And the big things, like you said, they don't vacate the title. There's no postseason ban.
The no postseason ban is big for me. The whole concept of vacating a title and getting rid of wins, like what the NCAA did with USC with Reggie Bush, and Like he won the Heisman. It happened. We saw it. I
And
don't remember a lot of stuff in my head, but like I remember seeing that. It happened.
that's another one where I feel like the same way that Reggie Bush, they stripped the Heisman only 20 years later, be like, we reacted in anger. Here's your trophy back. I think
Don't
that
parent angry, right?
I think this is similar to that, in that in 20 years people are going to be like, Michigan got punished for what? Like,
So
is there like quantifiable proof that this created an advantage on the field,
that
or
it
was
happened.
it a
So
scouting advantage?
we talked about this, I think, when it happened, and so let me preface this a little bit. Over the weekend, my wife directed Mamma Mia, and my son, who
Here we
absolutely
go
crushed that,
again.
was in the pit playing the drums. Now, I sent you a video last night. You remember seeing this?
Yeah, rocking
I
out.
was in the back of the auditorium, and I zoomed in as far as I could to see my son do his little drum. It's like a minute video of his drum solo, and I I the video I shot was grainy. Quality wise, I didn't care about the video so much because I knew it was going to stink, but the audio was cool.
It was
Can
it
you
was like the Zapruder film, except no one got shot.
Yeah. So from where I was standing to where Derek was I would guess halfway across a college sized football field. That was half, and that video came in like that. So Connor Stallions is sitting in the stands or even on the sidelines recording the opposing offensive coordinator. That's what we're to believe, right?
Right.
With an iPhone, with one of these things.
Yeah, he doesn't have like a telephoto lens.
What kind of quality is he getting? I mean, they had it. I mean, the people who will argue and say, "Well, if it's new, why was he doing it if it wasn't helping?" I don't know how much it was helping. And then when they got caught or whatever, the last 3 games of the season without Harbaugh, they still beat Penn State, they still beat Ohio, they still went on to win playoff games. So,
Well, and here are the two takeaways from what you said. A lot of the decision that came down was really just, you know, pointlessly finger wagging at Jim Harbaugh, who he's not coming back to Michigan. And Harbaugh, you're right. The NCAA does hate Harbaugh because his success. They took it as a slap in the face a little bit.
I think it started with his satellite. You have to go back to like when the SEC was the dominant king, and he started running satellite camps down south. And the SEC was pissed. The whole Nick Saban Alabama dynasty was like, whoa, you're in our backyard now.
The SEC, those paragons of virtue down there, like there's no corruption in that conference.
Exactly. So, but Harbaugh did some weird stuff. I mean, he bought a cheeseburger for a kid. That got him a 4-year show clause penalty or whatever this was. Yeah. I had no idea what a show cause penalty was. Did you know what that was beforehand?
No.
So I looked it up and I couldn't find it online. So I went to our good friend ChatGPT and I said to it, "Hey man, Jim Harbaugh got hit with a 10-year show cause penalty. Can you tell me what the hell that means?" So it says this is what it means in plain terms. There's a burden now on any school that may want to hire him for the length of the penalty, which is 10 years after the 4-year show cause penalty hit for the cheeseburger thing. It basically says if you hire Jim Harbaugh, you must show cause as to why this is why we should let you hire him. It brings extra scrutiny. It's basically the NCAA saying, look, if you hire this guy, we're going to make your life miserable.
And look, what's Harbaugh, 60? And he's with the
61.
Chargers.
He's 61 right now.
So, boo-hoo. He can't go back to college without it being a huge hassle, for the entirety of his 60s. What a pointless punishment.
I'm right now, I'm kind of rooting for the Chargers to win the Super Bowl and for Harbaugh to come back. Just maybe not to Michigan, but just come back to college just to be a troll.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I take away from this is Michigan was not doing anything that other programs don't do some version of.
No.
They just did it really, really well. Like if you saw the documentary about Connor Stallions, like that guy, if he'd lived in the Bay Area in the '70s, we'd know who the Zodiac Killer was. Like the organization and the attention to detail, like the way it's not just the information he was recording; it was how he analyzed it and how he turned it into useful information,
Actionable intel, I guess they say.
Yes, that's nothing more than really, really good scouting. In my
I
mind.
saw a report where Ohio State had a recorded video of Maryland's practice, and like my first thought was, dude, it's Maryland. But I guess Maryland was they played Ohio tough, but like you have a recorded video of practice. That's to me that's the same thing.
To me, that's worse. Like the Patriots video gate is worse than this because practices can be closed from public eyes. To
They
film
should
in a
be.
game where there are 100,000 people in the stands and then be like, "Hey, we don't like the way you're looking at our coach who's doing this thing in public, like in a public space."
It's like
Such a silly crime.
we'll get to this in a little bit. We'll talk about Little League, but like I saw it's like in Little League baseball, there was a situation like a kid, I guess, on second base was trying to steal signs. Like that's change your signs.
I
Make it
feel
do like a
the same way
code.
about stealing signs in baseball. If a guy on second base can pick up what the catcher is relaying to the pitcher, guess what? Your system for signals is not as good as it needs to be.
Now that would be hypocritical, like what happened in 2017 with the trash bag, the garbage cans.
That's different. When you
different.
get into using communication, and guys are wearing wires and stuff. That's
He's
over
wearing
the
a
line.
wire.
But but like if it's just as simple as a guy standing on second base and he notices every time, the third signal the catcher throws is what the pitcher's the pitch the pitcher's throwing.
Get your sign, man. Hey, the pitcher Alex Rodriguez did a whole series on TikTok about pitchers who tip pitches. He maintains 50% of the league tips their pitches. So what are you supposed to do? Not like, oh, here comes a curveball. I would just pretend it's a fastball and swing through it. No,
it's at a certain level, it's gamesmanship, and every fan has to make the decision of when it is beyond gamesmanship and goes into cheating. I don't think sign stealing in baseball is cheating, and frankly, I don't think what Michigan did is cheating.
I'm with you. So
and
I'm
not trying to go in with blinders as a Michigan fan. Look, there is corrupt stuff at every major college program of some variety.
I was just talking to my dad about this yesterday. Maybe not. We're not at the point where we're doing Jake's takes just yet, but he basically said something similar. I think fans of Big Ten and SEC schools, have a similar vision of what this is. And for the years that Alabama was dominant, the big reason, I think, the unspoken big reason is because they were, handing out a couple checks that maybe they shouldn't have. I mean, you don't win as much as they do in a sport that should be have some level of parity based on, kids coming in. And it's no coincidence that when NIL started, the SEC dominance started to change.
And as to Ohio State crowing about this, any program that has employed Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer, in our lifetimes, can get off their high horse.
I loved your use of sanctimony. That was
someone read his thesaurus this morning.
Yeah, you did. Well, speaking of the Big Ten and the SEC, I just saw this. I don't know if it was yesterday as I was working the concession stand of Mamma Mia, and with nothing to do except to hear music through a closed door and scroll through my phone. I got a note from my sports app that says, according to sources, which I love when the media says this, what I could be a source. The Big Ten, this is the Big Ten commissioner, has considered the idea of expanding the college football playoff again to grow the postseason to either 24 or 28 teams. And under the format that the Big Ten commissioner has envisioned, the Big Ten and the ACC would each get 7 automatic bids. The ACC and the Big 12 would each receive 5 automatic bids. And then there'd be 2 bids for non-power conferences and then 2 at-large teams, i.e. Notre Dame. There you go. This just boggles my mind. Tim, go. What do you think?
This, if you couldn't tell from my face as you were saying that, this idea is absolute poo-poo. Like it being brought up, that person should have been laughed out of the room. Anything more than a 16-team tournament is bloated and unnecessary. And like you say, like it says on the graphic, why not 136? Are we going to shorten the regular season? Are we going to be playing playoffs into March? Like, what is the structure that we're looking at if this were to become reality?
So, I didn't have the time to make the actual bracket, like what a 2018 bracket would be, but I do have a list of some schools last year that would have made the championship tournament based on, the regulations here, like the 7 automatic bids. The first team that makes the playoffs is Michigan at 8-5. Now we both, I consider last season to be a success simply because they beat Ohio State at the end of the year.
Right.
But coming into that game at 7-5 or 7-4, or they were 7-5 because
with no ability to throw the ball at all. They had no business playing for a national championship. I say that as a Michigan fan.
Zero.
They were for as much as a defending champion at powerhouse program can be. They were thoroughly mediocre.
I think mediocre is being nice. Like they were bad, but I mean, they're in the tournament. They finished 7th in the Big Ten behind Iowa.
Oh, that'll be fun to watch.
Who wants to see Texas versus Iowa?
Iowa as a team scored like 100 more points last year than you and I did.
In 12 games.
I'd rather do my taxes than watch Iowa, play a national playoff game.
I think like if you took all the points Iowa scored and you gave me 10 games of baseball stars with one of my made up teams, I'm scoring more points. But
I think
they make the playoffs.
I think each of us could score more points in a Tecmo Super Bowl game, one game, than Iowa scored in all of 2024.
It'd be close. I'd need 2 games. I could get 70. I could get 70 points. But, okay. Along with them, some perennial NCAA powerhouses as in Louisville, Syracuse, Baylor. I mean, Louisville was 9-4, and that's a good year for them. But, I mean, come on, we're talking about a playoff here that you want your eventual winner to feel like, yes, we've accomplished something, we've beaten the best of the best. Not like you said, are we cutting back on regular season games because we're putting these kids now at 19 games, 20 games if you win the whole thing? That's crazy.
And you'd have to wonder how that impacts like the draft through injury or, just wear and tear. And look, Syracuse, Baylor, you win your 8-9 games. That's great. That's a nice season. That's what the GoDaddy.com bowl is for, And
if Syracuse has a rival, I mean, it's football. It's not like Georgetown. But like I said, Michigan at 8-5, I considered it a good year because they won their rivalry game. Heck, they even went down to the bowl game. They beat Alabama, which was amazing. Like, I did not think that was going to happen, but
yeah, neither of us did.
And that's a good way to end your season. That's a feel good way to end your season. I have to go back into the Soup and Meatballs archives to see what I thought about 12. I probably think 12 is a lot, but 28 is absolutely ridiculous. Like, nobody needs that.
16 is like the saturation point. Like 16, you're still getting teams that were maybe on the fringe. You get a nice clean bracket. Anything more than that is just
no buys.
at a certain point, they're just trying to, milk the cow until dust comes out. They want every last dollar.
Yeah, and it's the kids who are out there, banging their heads and talk. I talked to my dad for like 3 hours yesterday, so I'll give you Jake's takes without him on video.
I still think that segment would be a winner.
To find him, figure out a way for him to use the phone and record video if he can't make it live. But
that could be Jake's first take. It could just be him complaining about, like, where's the record button on this thing? And then like it just ends.
Is it on? Is it on?
It's just like a shot up his nostrils.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, he was talking about the transfer portal and NIL, and it's to me it's still interesting that an Alabama fan complains about NIL. We all know why, but the portal thing, he was like, there needs to be a certain time that kids are allowed to bounce. And I told, in my head, if I were going to try to fix college football, I would give every kid who comes into Division I or Division whatever, you get one free transfer, you get one freebie, and there's a conditional freebie that if the head coach of your program leaves, retires, resign, whatever, you get another freebie that you can leave. That eliminate the concept of free agency. I saw this clip where this one guy was going to his fifth school or something like that. That boggles my mind. Like, from an admissions standpoint, like what kind of classes are transferring across all these schools? But
yeah,
beyond that, he's like, well, there has to be a specialized time for it too. And I think he was referring to what happened at Penn State there, the backup quarterback leaving. I forget where he went. I think he went to Iowa State, but he didn't play in the playoff game.
Right.
And all the Penn State fans were like, well, what if Drew Aller gets hurt?
Well,
then you have a backup quarterback for him. He's just not that backup quarterback. This kid wants to get on with his life. He wants to get into the program. There's an admissions procedure for wherever you're going. They got to go through that. Well, I don't know if you can designate you have to transfer during this week and that's it.
College football right now kind of feels like the NFL in like 1993, like post Reggie White free agency, where they were still figuring out, like, well, we have to make this fair to the players, but also we have to make this fair to ownership. We have to come up with an idea, like, what eventually became like franchise tagging players. It feels like the NCAA is still sort of figuring out the mechanism, how to make this fair to both player and program. And I'm surprised it's taking this long, because you're right. It is like, it's like international waters, like no laws. Like, you have guys transferring during bowl season. Which to
me is fine, because a bowl game is a nice little thing at the end of the year. You get a trip to Florida, you get a bag of stuff from the sponsor. That's great.
And I mean, look, bowl season has become mostly irrelevant now with the invention of the playoff, because how many times do we see a team that's not in the playoff where, most of their seniors are like, well, I'm sitting out. I want to be healthy for the draft. I want to be healthy for my pro day.
Mm-hmm.
So
one of the things I told my dad, like, why did you go to college? What was the purpose of college for you?
For me or your dad?
Well, both. I mean, it's probably the same reason.
I knew I didn't have any aptitude for like a trade school, and I knew any career I would want would require at least a bachelor's.
Try to get a job. Get a good paying job, right? So if you are a D1 football player, and I used Micah Parsons as the example for him, I said, why do you think Micah Parsons went to school? Do you think he's trying to be a nuclear engineer? No. And a lot of these guys that are going to big D1 programs, the job they want is NFL player. And a bowl game as a junior or senior, that's a risk. For me, like, I wanted to be on TV. Like, would I have tried to do something ridiculous to get my name in the newspaper? Oh yeah, this Max Melly guy jumped off a bridge and survived. Hey, let's give him no, that's a stupid risk, and you wouldn't do that. Like, I'm being ridiculous. But yeah, if I wanted to work at MTV or do one of those, kids today who want to get into media, there's avenues. You can get on TikTok, you can get on Instagram, you can get on YouTube or Twitch or whatever you and I are on, and make a name for yourself by doing something absolutely ridiculous or saying something stupid. But that's a risk. you know, and it's an unwise risk for a kid like Jabril Peppers, or ask Jake Butt about playing in the bowl game, how good a decision that was.
Yeah.
There's millions of dollars these guys can make by being first and second round draft picks that, you know, even to a point where if you're playing a playoff game sometimes, like the playoffs are nice, but 4 playoff games, I don't know about that if we go to 28.
Well, and you do have to wonder if it's going to impact NFL executives thinking. If there's a kid, who's a potential top 5 who sat out his bowl game, rested, and there's another kid who's a potential top 5 seen as, comparable value, but he's now played 4 extra games, didn't have time to prepare for his pro day, didn't have time to prepare for his combine. Is that going to weigh into the decision when it comes to evaluating draft stock?
I don't think so, but I mean, I heard this great clip or take or whatever you want to call it on the radio. Colin Cowherd, who I agree with about 30% of the time, this great comment about NFL quarterbacks, and where you go to school determines maybe how good a quarterback you're going to be. So one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Josh Allen. Where did he go to school, Mr. Smarty Pants?
Wyoming.
Lamar Jackson, where did he go to school?
Louisville.
Patrick Mahomes, where did he go to school?
He was a Red Raider, Maximilian.
These are not schools that you'd expect. Alabama, Ohio, Texas. And the reason he gave, he's like, why these people are so good in the pros is because, at Wyoming, Josh Allen doesn't have 6 5-star offensive linemen in front of him, a 5-star running back, and 3 5-star receivers going up against 3 stars. Like a lot of the games that Penn State are going to play this year, especially at the beginning of their schedule, I mean, their first game is against Hazleton Area High School. Their second game is against Dunmore. And their third game is against, somebody even worse. Like, they have a terrible schedule, and Drew Aller's going to look like a god. But whoever the quarterback is from Boston College, he's going to have to throw his receivers open. They're not going to be like – it's not like playing against kids. And, the good what Colin was saying was, the way these quarterbacks play in college, it translates to the NFL. And that made me think a lot. Man, I'm a Michigan fan. I want the best players to come here. But it's weird you don't see it translate to the NFL. So when you talk about NFL scouting, I wonder how much that plays into it. Like, you would look great on film. Well, sure you do. It's Ohio State versus Minnesota. Of course you look good. I wonder how much they weigh pro days and things like that.
And it's funny how many guys get dinged when it comes to evaluation in terms of quarterbacks as being system guys. Like, how many?
Jay McCarthy.
Right. Or you look at who's the most innovative offensive mind in college football right now. It might be Sarkisian.
Yeah.
Now, we've got Arch Manning this year, but how many Steve Sarkisian quarterbacks have gone in the NFL and just lit it up? Not many.
I don't know.
why
don't you tell me, Tim?
Caleb Williams, TBD. I think with quarterback evaluation, it just really comes down more to, you must be this tall to be a pro quarterback. You must have, this kind of observable arm strength. You must run, in most cases, this kind of 40 or whatever. It seems like there's a template there for physical attributes, and stats and pedigree don't matter as much.
And game film, where my first thought, but a week ago would have been, I don't need pro days. I don't need this and this and this. I can watch the film. I wasn't thinking about the fact that I've got, my group of bingo long traveling all-stars, and you've got, basically Tim and Max on the defense trying to stop you. So
I don't like our chances.
It's not like,
we're old.
It's not like the big time schools are playing against a group of All-Americans, which, ironically enough, you sent over an interesting picture. What was that, Thursday?
Yeah, I think it was Might have been Friday, but yeah,
I,
to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Associated Press All America team, they named their all-time All-Americans.
and there it was. I'm looking at it right now. It's just a lot of names like you would see in a newspaper. My the first team offense, they start with wide receivers, and they go Randy Moss and Larry Fitzgerald. And the first thing I did was I looked for somebody on Michigan because I figured that Charles Woodson was going to make it, and he did. And I looked at the defensive secondary on the first team. I thought, oh my gosh, this is Charles Woodson, Deion Sanders, Ronnie Lott, and Ed Reed.
Hall of Famer.
In my head, that was the strongest position on all of them. What were some of your thoughts on the AP's team?
It was interesting to try to see them walk the line between honoring guys who were great in college but maybe didn't pan out in the pros versus guys who, like Randy Moss, who had, good college careers but, like didn't win a Heisman, wouldn't be considered like an all-timer, who went on to an all-time NFL career.
The article from the AP itself said that they were not to take any professional accolades into consideration. So
then I don't know how Tim Brown isn't a first-team wide receiver winning a Heisman at Notre Dame.
Yeah, the second team has Desmond Howard and Devontae Smith, two Heisman Trophy winners. And I think what I wrote to you was it was interesting that Fitzgerald and Moss, they were in New York. They made the Final Four. They made the cut, but yeah, they didn't win it. So having a Tim Brown off the team is whatever. The other, I guess, big name that was left off. You're not going to win a Heisman Trophy on the offensive line, but Anthony Munoz didn't make the first or second team.
I think Tim Brown was on the second team as like athlete, like that sort of like.
No, yes, you're right. There he is, all purpose.
Yeah,
all purpose.
And that feels like they were like, look, how many wide receivers win a Heisman? We've got to get this guy on somewhere. Let's call him an athlete because it's not wrong.
Kick returner, that kind of thing, all purpose, sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another name that I was surprised we didn't see, who never won a Heisman but was one of the most explosive guys of our childhood, Rocket Ismail.
Yeah, I wonder if it's local bias or something of being a Wilkes-Barre guy. He played at a big time program. He was on national TV every week with Notre Dame,
contending for national titles.
But he was a guy that he was like Devin Hester. Like Notre Dame could be down by 2 touchdowns, but they force a punt. The next thing you know, they cut the lead in half because that guy was a phenomenal special teamer. And I think this is back when Notre Dame was running the option a whole lot, so they didn't throw it a ton.
Right. Yeah. That's probably why he didn't win a Heisman, was because he was splitting votes with Tony Rice, who was running the option for them.
That's a blast name from the past, though. I like that. As far as quarterbacks go, they gave Tim Tebow the number 1 spot, and you were curious about Vince Young at number 2. Who would you have put in there? Who else kind of?
I mean,
like your Joe Burrow or Carson Palmer.
Yeah, I mean Carson Palmer's a good one. Manziel. I know he flamed out in the pros and he's had his demons.
No, but we're just talking college. Yeah, you have to put him in there.
And I'll tell you who else. If we're talking about the most dominant teams that we've seen, what about Joe Burrow? The season he had at LSU?
2019, yeah.
And that's a team that gets talked about as maybe the greatest of all time.
All-timer.
So I think Burrow has to be in the conversation.
I would go back. My admiration for Tommy Frazier.
Yeah, we talked about him last week.
I don't know if I put him over Tim Tebow or Vince Young, but I mean he gets his name on the list.
Charlie Ward.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm just surprised, as great as Vince Young was, and as great as he was in the national title game to beat USC. Like I said, he didn't win a Heisman. So how can we call him the second greatest college quarterback of all time when he wasn't even the greatest player any year he was a starter?
They're calling him the second best All-American.
Okay, that's fair, but
That's their argument, I guess. But I'm with you. I don't know.
So yeah, look, Tebow. I know some people kind of balked at that, but Tebow was a monster at Florida. I have
Yeah.
no problem with Tebow being on the first team.
They have Brock Bowers as their tight end. I'm not old enough or wise enough to remember Keith Jackson at Oklahoma, the former Philadelphia Eagle, I believe, not the former broadcaster.
Right.
But I remember Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was a problem in college.
I was going to say Kyle Brady.
Kyle Brady was another. Penn State had a lot of good tight ends.
And they didn't have anyone named to this team. None of the linebackers, Kyle Brady. I mean, Kajana Carter wasn't going to make it because running back was just so competitive.
Between Barry Sanders, Herschel Walker, Archie Griffin, 2 Heisman trophies. Yeah, Tony Dorsett. Yeah, that's a tough room to get into. Linebackers, though, Chris Spielman. I've seen highlights of Spielman again. In the mid '80s, I was playing He-Man. I wasn't watching football. The first name that I think of with Ohio State linebackers is Katzenmoyer.
Yeah.
And he didn't make the list, but that's whatever. But Dick Butkus, Derek Thomas, and Spielman, they went with 3 linebackers. Second team, Jerry Robinson from UCLA, Bosworth, which, I mean, of course, and LT, Lawrence Taylor on the second team. So no LeVar Arrington, no Jack Ham, no.
I thought Shane Conlon might have gotten a look.
Sean Lee. This is me spitting out Penn State linebackers now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think other takeaways that I had. I really thought they nailed the running backs, though. That's especially with the way the game was played. I think going back to the 20s until offenses started to open up in maybe the 80s, we'd say, with like Miami kind of opening things up. Running back had to have been the most competitive. Running back and quarterback are obviously the positions that have dominated the Heisman historically.
But between Barry Sanders and Herschel Walker, I'd have a hard. Maybe Archie just because he won 2 Heismans, but yeah, those are two great names.
You could throw out Bo Jackson, Ricky Williams, Ron Dane. If you're talking about guys who had like career,
with the aforementioned Reggie Bush,
Earl Campbell. But yeah, I think with Barry and Herschel Walker, they got it right.
So if you haven't seen the list, you just look up all-time All-Americans, and you'll get the little list that, at least the image that I was looking at here.
We should share the screenshot I sent you. We should share that in the comments when we're done.
There it is.
Take a look.
Boom! There it is. Cool. All right. So we were talking football. We'll stick with football. We'll go pro now. NFL camp news. Preseason week 2 coming to a close. 2 games today, 1 game tomorrow. Today is Sunday, August 17th, by the way. I didn't hear any major stories coming out of week 2. I did see a pretty cool Ashton Ginty video of him trucking over a 49er defender on his way to a touchdown.
That guy's going to be a problem.
I mean, I guess no news is good news in terms of the NFL. You got a lot of good things to say about the Giants and Jets yesterday as I was sitting at the concession stand.
There is some Eagles news, though, because Landon Dickerson, all-pro left guard, injured his knee. Going to be out for a bit. Not as bad as initially feared. I think it's a meniscus, not an ACL. But they're still going to have to be a little delicate with him, and it's going to cause some shuffling on the Eagles line, which luckily that's a position where they have really good depth. And, the next member of Stoutland U will just have to step up for the first couple of weeks.
Is that a practice injury, or is that something that happened against Cleveland?
That was a practice injury.
Okay. So, I mean, that's I saw some Bears news. I'm reading up on the game against the Bills. They had a really good practice. They had a good practice against Miami. Like their offense against Miami in practice, they said looked amazing. And against Buffalo, they said they looked good. Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze they had a very good couple sessions. And this week, Ben Johnson is going to start his starters. Now, you don't know how long they're going to play, and that's whatever. But all the reports I read were, why are you risking playing your starters? And my first thought is, like, because you want to get some game film on them. They have to get ready, right?
And also, this is a new offense that you want to see how Caleb Williams responds in a game situation.
Yeah, well, I think the article was more bemoaning the offensive linemen that are starting, because like that was a big weakness last year, obviously. But you can't just baby these guys. Like, they have to go out and communicate at game speed in game situations with a couple thousand people yelling. That you don't get that in practice, and honestly, I think
it makes me feel like Chicago is not happy with what they're seeing from the offense, particularly that they want to see like as close to a simulated game situation as you can.
Well, I think what you said about the offense being it's a new offense and it's a complicated offense.
Yes.
And I get so many conflicting reports from sources saying Caleb Williams is struggling, Caleb Williams is going to pick this up. On the other hand, people are saying Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze dominated the Buffalo Bills in the red zone. I mean, I'm not worried about a guy getting hurt in the preseason. I'm not starting my offensive line and playing them 4 quarters, but you give them 2-3 couple series at least.
I think that's what we'll see. I don't even think we'll see the starters through the end of the first quarter. A series or two, or if the first series, if they put together a nice drive, maybe that's all you see out of them. I think it's just I want to see some encouraging signs out of this group that things are clicking.
We'll see tonight. The game is the 8:00 Fox game, I think.
It is.
The Eagles played the Browns. Did you see any of the game at all? I didn't know it was on.
Yeah, I watched on NFL Network, and
okay.
First of all, and this is going to sound like I'm trying to make it sound better than it is. The final score is basically irrelevant.
No, because you're playing your 5th string by the 4th quarter. No, I'm not worried about them losing the game.
They had DTR starting at quarterback. It wasn't even Tanner McKee, and Kyle McCord was the 2nd string. So they're not exactly sending out the varsity. The guys that they played on defense didn't look super. Dylan Gabriel led 2 really nice drives. Cleveland went right down the field on Philadelphia's 4th string defense.
Did Sanders play?
No, he's got an oblique injury. So
okay.
Dylan Gabriel got the bulk of the snaps and looked good. He was, something like 14 to 17 or something like that.
Yeah, I think did he throw a pick 6 or is that last week?
He did throw a pick 6.
I saw a video and the interception, he basically walked off the field or something. What do you want him to do? Do you want him to go try to light up a 2nd or 3rd string defensive back?
He's coming off an injury himself. He's still not 100%. That's why Sanders got such a good look in week 1 of the preseason, is because Dylan Gabriel didn't dress.
So aside from the interception, you say Gabriel had a good game. I don't think he's had a good camp. From reports, again, I think the media wants to see Sanders start because it's a good story. I get it. I don't think either one of them are going to start week 1, but that's neither here nor there.
I've seen both of Cleveland's, just by chance, both of Cleveland's preseason games. I thought Gabriel was sharper than Sanders, but I thought both have looked good. I don't think either will start week 1. I don't think.
So Flacco decides to hang it up.
Yeah, they're going to roll Flacco's old ass out there and just roll the dice. I mean, dude's 40 years old. Come on,
Is he 40 really?
He is 40.
You're saying I'm only 7 years older than an NFL starting quarterback. I woke up today and I haven't been hit nearly as much as he has, but I've got pains in my neck and my shoulders, and I can't imagine what that guy's like at 40 playing NFL quarterback. Come on.
When I get off the couch, it sounds like when you're vacuuming and you get gravel in the vacuum hose.
No, tell everybody what you sent me.
Just grinding and tearing.
Tell everybody what you sent me. But 34 years ago, this cartoon debuted.
Oh, Ren and Stimpy.
The horse.
Yeah. It hurts. Mr. Hare, how do you feel about that standing up from the couch? No, sir, didn't like it.
No, sir, didn't like it. Oh my god, I hadn't seen the horse though. It's like this fireman skit, like Ren and Stimpy are trying to catch my baby. this baby's like a boulder falling down, and like catch my horse.
Look, The Simpsons is the better show between Simpsons and Ren and Stimpy, but that horse, like when he's crawling and it plays when Johnny comes marching home like he's a wounded Civil War soldier.
That was so
the noises of him like grunting in pain.
Yes, but his back legs are like amazed. They're dead. Like you can't, and he's just dragging himself. Yeah. I remember seeing that growing up, obviously, but the retro callback. Oh, that was good stuff, man. that was good stuff.
That was a Tony Rice level blast from the past.
Along with the AP All-Americans. If you're watching this, go look up Ren and Stimpy, just because. I don't even have a good segue for this, man. So we've been trying not to get fined by the NFL all month, and we're closing in on the Soup and Meatball NFL predictions, which are going to be something else if you were to believe what I've written down. But we're ranking our current position ratings or so, and we settled on secondary defensive back, not just cornerback. So there's a lot of pools to pick from here. I'm kind of interested to see where I think number one is pretty clear, but beyond that, it's the wild west.
I was surprised with my number 3, but when I was thinking about it, I was like, I like this guy being included in my top 3. But you're right. I think one guy's a no-brainer. My number 3 is kind of, well, you'll see. So who's our number 1? Oh, I've got Patrick Surtain number 1.
Oh, you like you know what? Patrick Surtain, PC2 or whatever out in Denver. Yeah. I cannot and will not argue with that. He didn't make my list though, amazingly.
Yeah, like a defensive
but again, with only 3
guy, just locked down. I think, to my mind, he's a clear number 1.
I don't think he's a clear number 1, but 1A and 1B. I'm pretty sure my number 1 probably made your list, or at least I hope he made your list. Then the guy from the other end of the country in New York, he plays for the Jets. Give him a break, man. But Big Sauce,
yeah,
Sauce Gardner. Yeah, he's another. Just don't throw at this guy because it's the Jets, and there's probably a much better option on the other side of the field. But
yeah, and I don't. Well, that's not true. With them being New York, sometimes I get to see some Jets games as like the early AFC game on CBS. And, look, Sauce is my number 2. He's really, really good, but I just think Surtain is like next level. Like, I think Surtain is the best of his generation.
Oh, wow.
Like, I think Surtain is going to be the best for another 4 or 5 years.
Okay. I have, like I said, there's no art. There's a lot of guys to pick from, and I think with some of the guys I picked, I think we do a lot of things the same in these rankings. So let's try to be a little different. I figured you'd go Sauce at least, though. My number 2, I went safety, and the best safety I think in the league is Kyle Hamilton out of Baltimore, and not only because what he does in the pass game, but what he does in the running game. And you don't think of corners as, let's come up and stop the run. But Hamilton, to play defense in Baltimore, you have to come up and hit. And he's not Ed Reed, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's funny when I knew it was like comprehensive secondary, but I went all corners. But you're right, like that's such an underrated part of run defense is that support from safety, because that's such a tough part of the position to be aggressive in stopping the run while not biting on play fakes.
Yeah, play action.
Getting beat deep. Now, you might be surprised by my number three. Like I said, I think Sertan could be number one for the next 4 or 5 years unless this guy surpasses him. I think he has a very high ceiling. I went Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. You got to play a game for me. I think.
Fair.
And that's your the stupid meatball hot take for the week, I guess. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I think he's got a ceiling to him, but I'm going to see what the floor is first. And
it also depends how much he gets used on offense. And
that's what I was going to say. I don't know how much where he ends up because I don't think he's going to play two-way as much as he did in college. That just doesn't seem to be, you put a big investment in this guy. You want him to be as healthy and as fresh as possible. Put it that way.
I think the concern is that if he plays a lot of snaps on offense, teams are going to go run at that kid. We're going to run 6 times right at that kid, and if he's got, the stamina to come up and stop it, great. Tip your hat to him.
Yeah, you play the long game. So in the first quarter, I would almost sacrifice a drive to just focus on him. We're going to run deep. We're going to run a sweep at him.
Like the worst thing a cornerback sees, probably. Well, you would know. You played the position. Is when you see a guard coming around the corner and you know you're about to get slammed.
I remember in it was just our senior year because I played a lot of various positions, but at a corner when we ran, it was like a buck sweep, where if we were pulling our guard or pulling our tackle, whatever Jameson played, I thought he was a tackle.
No, the tackles were Wayne and Juracek. So
okay, then Jameson was a guard.
And Gill were the guards.
Okay, then they were definitely pulling because Jameson came out to try to block me, and I always thought it was kind of weird that like I would revert to my old linebacker days and I would just run up and I would hit him. Now it was practice. I think he might have been going half speed or whatever, but that was Jameson. I remember we used to run a cutback where it was a tackle trap. And when I was a scout team middle linebacker, when I saw Pete Nensteel running at me, I still haven't cleaned up my pants. Like seeing that big dude with the big ass pads and the bull ring face mask, that was scary.
For me, that was when we would run trap, and it was Richie Robbins. He would take it easy on me. Like sometimes he would like signal if I was getting trapped, and he would be like, just like don't make me look bad, and I won't make.
Yeah, I'm not trying to kill you here, but
yeah. So, I know the feeling. Clearly, our experience is exactly like being in the NFL.
Jameson out in space. When you get I see these videos where it's a screen pass. I think a lot where you see the offensive line out in space trying to block a corner. A cornerback's not going to come up and take on those blocks. Their job is to maybe not get killed and slow the runner down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know any corner or secondary guy that likes to see that. But yeah, being a run defender is big. My number 3 is again, I'm going to homer this, and in the news recently because he's injured. So I don't know if he's going to be like top 3 by the end of the year. I like Jalen Johnson with the Chicago Bears. He's not the best cover guy, but he's my guy. So I figured, you know what? There's no way Tim's putting him on his list. So I'm going to put him as my number 3 so we can have something different.
I almost went Homer too with Cooper DeJean, just as one of the great spot corners in the league,
Dude, go Homer.
Michigan can do no wrong. Cooper DeJean for MVP.
MVP. That's now you're going too far.
Dial it back here.
Dial back. All right, here we go. Switch it up. We've done football now for almost an hour. Major League Baseball. Since the last time we've talked, Milwaukee hasn't lost, and I wonder when they will. What's the record at now? 14 in a row.
Yeah, I think they've won 14 in a row. That they're closing in on 80 wins.
I don't know what their schedule looks like this week coming up. So let me get my Producer's in my ear. He's saying that it's on the board. Oh yeah, there it is. They're currently in Cincinnati. After that, they're gonna head to the Cubs for a 5-game series.
That's a big one. Chicago needs to pick up some ground.
I mean, what's the lead at right now? I mean, the lead's at 9, so they could sweep these 5 games, and Milwaukee's still got a 4-game lead. But as far as the wild card goes,
yeah, that's what I mean. No one else is winning the Central at this point.
The wild card, they're the number 1 wild card by half a game over San Diego, and the Mets, who have just, I mean, we'll talk about the Yankees here in a second, but what's kind of nice about. Yeah, the Yankees have stunk, but the Mets have been worse somehow.
Yeah, the Mets have, I believe it's the second worst record in the league since the All-Star break.
I'd buy that.
And they are in real danger of not making the playoffs.
Oh no, they're a game and a half up on the last spot. So
Are they fighting with the Reds for the last spot right now?
The race is going to come down to the Mets, the Reds. Maybe St. Louis, Arizona. On St. Louis is 4.5 out, Arizona's 5.5 out. So, I mean, they're not out of it yet, but that's tough to. It's tough to make up 5 games with 35 left.
Yeah, I don't think the Mets threw all that money at Juan Soto, hoping for the final wild card spot.
Well, right now. You try to get in, I guess. I mean, that's kind of where the Yankees are at in the same respect. The other thing I wrote down, what happened to San Francisco? I mean, if you remember back a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how amazing the National League West was. They had a 3-headed monster out there. Giants dropped 7 in a row. They're 11 games out of first. They are 6 games out of a wild card spot.
And everyone thought when they made the Devers deal that okay, this is a team that is going to contend for the division.
Well, that most certainly is not the case, as the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani's back on the mound. He's like his robot self again. It's really LA and San Diego. And that'll be a fun tight race down the stretch. Let me see if we look at the Dodgers schedule.
That's become a fun rivalry. Dodgers.
They play San Diego this week. They're this upcoming weekend, and that's it. That they don't play them the rest of the year.
I saw some guy on Twitter who was trying to argue that Manny Machado is the greatest third baseman of all time.
Has he not heard of Mike Pagliarulo?
Pags.
Saying. I mean, honestly, after Mike Schmidt, Brooks Robinson,
George Brett, Chipper, Wade Boggs.
You put Alex Rodriguez there. I mean, I know that's a weird thing.
Yeah, he's a tricky one because he was really a shortstop who got strong-armed into moving over.
Who also is involved in other, scandalous behavior, whatever.
Yeah, syringe-type behavior.
It's a random third baseman, even Greg Nettles. I mean, he's not the offensive guy that Machado is, obviously, but you think about vacuum cleaners over there.
Adrian Beltre, Arenado.
I'm at a loss. I can't match you third baseman for third baseman. Was Kelly Gruber a third baseman?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he
Pie Trainer. We all remember the great Pie Trainer.
Scott Rowland.
Dean Palmer, Detroit Tigers great.
I'm not matching you third baseman for third baseman. I know that.
2007 World Series MVP Mike Lowell.
Scott Brosius.
Salt and pepper goatee.
Yeah, Scott Brosius was a World Series MVP.
Caught the final out of Coney's perfect game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Charlie Hayes caught the last out of the '96 World Series.
Yeah. Yeah,
in foul territory. Yeah,
a foul pop, I believe, by Orlando Cabrera for the final.
They were both foul pop ups. The third outs of each of those important games.
Yeah.
But no, so Manny Machado, the greatest third baseman of all time. So that's a take, I guess.
Like, there aren't many positions where you'd get an argument, but I always thought that Schmidt being number one at third base is universally agreed upon.
Yeah, I'm with you. Every
Gold Glove
list
guys,
that I
world
see,
champion, multiple MVPs, almost 548 home runs.
So, I mean, that's where you put him all time is whatever. But ESPN just put out they ranked their top 50 players right now, like the 2025 season here in the end of August as we hit the September stretch drive. The 50 best players in the league, and I was kind of surprised at their top 5 a little bit. So, without looking at the list, I don't know if you saw it. Who would you put at number 1? Oh, you did see it.
No, I did not.
Oh, cool. So who would you put as your number 1 player in Major League Baseball this year right now?
Ohtani.
I wouldn't argue with that. They didn't.
Did they go Judge?
They went Aaron Judge, and the arm injury and his kind of relative slump since he came back from the arm injury, I would say Ohtani would be above him. But that's and I wouldn't even put Judge number 2. My number 2, they put it number 6.
Did it include pitchers as well as position players?
Players, everybody.
I mean, is it like Skubal or Paul Skeens?
Tariq Skubal is their number 3, and I won't argue with that. That's fine. But they put Paul Skeens at number 6.
Oh, okay, all right, that's a take.
I don't care that his no starter has won the National League Cy Young with a record of 500 or below. Thank you, Jeff Passan. I don't care about wins and losses as a pitching stat. He is, to me, the number 2 player in Major League Baseball this year.
Like, he's very likely going to finish, with a sub-2 ERA.
Which is incredible. What was Pedro's ERA back in '99? Because that was insane. Because he was pitching in the American League East. I mean, Skeens in the National League Central is one thing.
During the steroid era, as well.
That's amazing. But what Skeens is doing is not Pedro level, but pretty close.
Like I said last week, it is very comparable to a young Dwight Gooden, but without having the 85 and 86 Mets style run support. He doesn't have Gary Carter and Keith Hernandez driving him in for him.
Can you name 2 more Pittsburgh Pirates? I'm looking at their roster right now, and I can't name them.
This guy here is dead.
Actually, you know what? I should have been able to name their third baseman because the Yankees were in. No, the Yankees were in talks of possibly trading for him, and he's a former Yankee, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, IKF.
Okay.
He's their current third baseman. But I'm looking at their list, and Andrew McCutchen's their DH.
I forgot McCutchen was
87 years old.
McCutchen, good dude, but I mean, if I read sometime in like December McCutchen to retire, I wouldn't be shocked.
No, not at all. But I mean, so they have Cal Raleigh at number 4.
Switch hitting catcher,
which is fair. Who's hit 45 home runs, 46 home runs.
Yeah, and we've established he's going to set the single season record for catchers.
Bobby Witt Jr. number 5, PCA number 7, Jose Ramirez, another third baseman I really like from Cleveland. Zach Wheeler 9, and here's a guy I think he's kind of underrated. Is Garrett Crochet at 10.
Yeah, Crochet's been a stud. If Toronto keeps winning, they've got the best record in the AL last I looked. But I mean, Crochet's been just an anchor for that rotation.
And it's a rotation that's now in the playoffs. Which I mean, I don't know. I forget who you called back in the day, but like I said, Boston was going to make the wild card. I feel pretty good about that right now.
I remember saying that I felt like Boston was going to be somewhere around like 81 and 81. Like they might win 84 games, but they'd be a 500 team. So prove me wrong, children. Prove me wrong.
Right? Yeah. Right now, You would have the Yankees and Mariners playing, and the Red Sox would open with Houston.
Houston? Yeah.
So, but Crochet has really been a big reason for that, and I don't. The Red Sox are. It says 5-5 in their last 10, so they're kind of muddling right now. Who they're playing Miami right now.
Yeah,
Miami beat the heck out of New York, so good for them that
they
they're
had a nice comeback win Friday against Miami. They beat them 2-1 on
2-1.
Story drove in a run in the bottom of the ninth to pull one out.
It looks like coming up next weekend, the Red Sox head to the Bronx for a 4-game series. We're not going to get Crochet against Max Fried.
That would be
at least on the
way it falls now.
The expected pitching matchups, you're going to see Fried against Bello, and Garrett Crochet is going to take on Warren on Saturday. So we'll kind of see what works there.
Is that going to be a Fox game? Yeah. I mean, that has to be.
No. The Fox game is Thursday, it looks like. Giolito versus Heel. The Friday game is on Prime. How
can Fox have a contract with Major League Baseball where they show Saturday baseball and it's Red Sox, Yankees? Yankees are fighting for their postseason life.
The both teams are. They're. I mean, it's not like either Boston or New York is guaranteed a playoff spot. I mean, if the season ended right now, they're both in. But I mean, Cleveland is just 2.5 out.
Texas
and Kansas City is 4 out. And while we mentioned with the National League, it's hard to make up 4 or 5 games. Seattle could very easily fall out. Boston could fall out. We could have a playoff of Cleveland, Kansas City, and Seattle, or Cleveland, New York, and Texas. I mean, that's.
And I'll be honest, I would love to see Kansas City go back to the postseason just to give Bobby Witt a showcase again.
Sure. And it's no guarantee that Houston wins the West. They only have a 1.5 game lead over Seattle right now, so you might see Houston drop out. They're down into the wild card ranks.
Honestly, I think all of America outside of Texas would love to see Seattle win that division. They're just a fun story.
And they're not Houston, where the Astro fatigue is a real thing. So
Houston might be the most hated franchise in North American sports at the moment.
Which hurts me because I like New York hate. It means the Yankees are good and relevant. And
you're like a wrestling heel. You want that heat.
Sorta, yeah. And I think the people who play in New York, like you have to, when you sign there, you have to like understand this is going to be a thing. And like the big signing for the Yankees this year, Max Fried. I mean, I just saw this on Twitter. His first 11 starts this year, he had a 1.29 ERA, but the last 13 starts since June, ERA of 4.5. And a lot of Yankee fans are lambasting Cashman. Oh, you went out and you got another, first half All-Star, second half wilting apple. Like, I don't know what you want from the guy. I mean, I think as a Yankee fan, I have Cashman fatigue myself, but like you're going to bitch and moan about Max Fried? Come on.
I mean, look at that stretch where they didn't score, like back around the All-Star break where they couldn't, they didn't have a lead for how long? Like 3 weeks?
They have a bigger problem in their infield than I'm worried about with Max Fried. But I said this last week. I'll say it again. I'm going to adjust it a little bit. I said if they can win 2 out of every 3 games, that's if they can win 3 out of every 5 games. If they can go on a 60% clip up until September 15th, they're going to make the playoffs because they end the year 7 games against Baltimore, 7 games against the Twins and the White Sox. Yeah. Like these are games they should win 11 of those 14. They should. And you got to tread water right now. And that's kind of what they're doing. Like 6-4 in their last 10, they're treading water.
And at a certain point, you have to hope that Toronto just cools off somehow.
Well, even if they don't, I'm not upset if the Yankees win the division, sweet, get in the playoffs. I mean, you have the year where Arizona makes the World Series out of the 6th seed, and that You don't have to have the number one seeds out of in each league. They're not automatically going to make the World Series.
Look, we know anything can happen in the playoffs. I don't know if you remember, but back in 2004, there was this. I can refresh your memory. Oh, I'll do it off camera.
Thank you. My stress vein is popping.
Someone get Max's blood pressure medication.
Speaking of the World Series, let's talk about the really cool World Series. One of my favorite events, the whole sporting year, up in Williamsport, your neck of the woods. The Little League World Series underway last Wednesday. Pennsylvania took a tough loss to, was it South Dakota?
Yeah,
it's Midwest. I think they're from South Dakota. Those kids. They lost 2-0, and they are now in the. Oh, dude, no. Yesterday I was off the reservation with Mama Mia and my I had a bug last week, so I just wasn't feeling right. It looks like Pennsylvania's been mathematically and for all intents and purposes eliminated. They lost to the Great Lakes yesterday, 3-2. That's a tough loss for them.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I've only very casually been following the Little League World Series.
I watch it
each day.
I watch it. I don't know who's going where or who's doing what. I can see. Elimination game. Texas is playing Massachusetts, and I'm that guy who I root against Massachusetts simply because they're like in Red Sox territory. I feel bad. I'm rooting against kids based on like who they like in the pros, but that. It looks like New England won that game 7-3. So, football score.
With the Little League World Series, more than anything, I enjoy like the peripheral stuff. You know, the videos of people sliding down the hill and
I want to do that.
Reporters eating gigantic hamburgers at concessions and
the funnel cakes.
Well, I watched the game this week where the reporter was like a triple stack cheeseburger, and she was eating it while she was giving a report, and she's like, "That's a report from the Great Lakes." And it's like, chew with your mouth closed. Who raised you?
That's one thing I wish when I was doing TV back in the day. I wish I had applied for media credentials. Just go do stuff like that.
I know.
Fail on my part, I think.
I know a few of the sports guys at the Williamsport Sun-Gazette, and it's always. It sounds like a lot of work, like what they put out, but a fun challenge to find. Just like the cool non-game type feature stories.
Yes. I mean, looking at the bracket right now, I got this story for you right now. It's coming out of Latin America. These kids haven't allowed a run. I saw that there was a clip or a little tag on the screen that said they hadn't allowed a run since whenever. They opened on Wednesday with a 5-0 win over Puerto Rico. Then they on Thursday, they knocked off Canada 4-0. So they haven't allowed a run in the World Series yet. And now, on Monday, tomorrow, big game, man, 1:00. I might DVR this because I do have work tomorrow. Eventually, back to school to show that I'm no fool. Latin America versus Japan. Japan, a 12-0 win over Europe, Africa in game one. So Japan, Latin America, that looks like a big game on paper, at least bracket wise.
Yeah, and historically, Japan, makes deep runs.
And you imagine Latin America
is just such a baseball hotbed, and Japan, they're always a tough out.
On the U.S. side, the Final Four, we have a team from the Southeast, a team from the Mountain, and then Metro and Midwest. Metro, they're a New York school, so I'll root for New York, and you can try to get New England back through the consolation bracket. Or they call it the elimination bracket, not consolation.
More than anything, I'm excited for the Sunday night baseball game from Williamsport.
It's the Mets and who else?
The Mariners, I believe.
That's Mariners? Okay, yeah, okay.
Get to see cool. Cal Raleigh launching dingers at Bowman Field.
I'm Big Cal, and I hit dingers. Dumper. Now, last
I just
year,
want to see a bunch of Little League moms be like, why do they call him Big Dumper? What's that mean? Did he work as a garbage man in the off season?
Not quite. Last year, I forget who they played, but the Yankees were up in Williamsport, and this is just that time of year between Jen's show and the start of school and band camp. It's only 2 hours up the road for me, and it used to be coaching football stopped me from getting up there. One of these years, and that's like a bucket list item. I know a lot of my Facebook friends they send pictures like they're there, like they have no discernible reason, like there's no local team, but they just go to go. So I think it's really cool, like the fun fest level, like you said, the food truck stuff and the hill that you slide down. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's fun even for like non-baseball fans.
Yeah. So someday, well, I'll let you know. We'll have a live Soup and Meatballs report, maybe as early as next year.
We're going down that hill.
Unless we have something on Saturday. I don't know what's on my schedule, but we'll probably shoot for next year at the earliest.
We'll see if we can get a media credential.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, what's your outlet? We are Soup and Meatballs. That's SOUP as in Peter. Ampersand. How do you spell ampersand? That would be AM as in Michael.
Is there a real spelling for ampersand?
Yeah, it's AMPERSAND.
The sign standing for and, as in Smith and Company, or the Latin et, as in et. What?
Yeah, like et al.
They're saying this was the 27th letter removed from the alphabet?
The ampersand?
Yeah, according to Encyclopedia Britannica.
Well, they do good work. I trust them.
I mean, they are a trusted source. I was just thinking about this the other day, driving. And when I drive by myself, I think of really weird things about how I saw this picture on Facebook. You wake up and it's 1990. What do you do? And
am I my current age, or am I the age I was in 1990?
The age you were then. Like, I don't know if I have the knowledge of 2025 or like my first fear is, do I know where am I in school? And like, what's today's date? Or like, if it's like 1996, do I have work today? Or do I remember how to make omelets at Devato's? Like, I'd have
I'm buying Apple stock probably.
Yeah. I mean, try to tell my dad like, hey man, let's invest heavily. No, but like, if we were kids today, like if, back to school is Thursday, if you going back to school, and this could be quick hitter number one, because why not? Could you make it as a student today with all of the technological distractions? Because our technology was the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah, I feel like I feel confident in saying yes.
Okay.
It would just be different, but I wouldn't know any different.
If I know what I know now, then or something, yeah, I would be very distracted a lot of the times.
I already am very distracted a lot of the time.
Do you remember the distraction we had in business law? This is great.
Playing cards?
I used to play cards in the middle of class. We had our hats on the desk, and we had the draw deck under the bills. And like as a teacher now, I know if my kids are screwing around, and like I don't know if we'll shout out PC. I don't know if PC knew what we were doing, man.
I think as long as we were quiet, she didn't care. I mean, what were we playing? We'd play hearts. We'd play poker.
We were playing gin rummy in business law. We were playing.
We played hearts
in accounting with Robbins.
Yeah,
Robbins and Baylog playing hard. That was a time. So quick hitter. I'm going to skip ahead. This is quick hitter number 4. We'll go back to 1 then, as it's officially back to school week. What was the question? What was the toughest part of back to school for you as a kid?
Figuring out what I was going to wear the first day.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, and I remember the night before I would like put my clothes on the floor, so that like in my mind I could just like a cartoon jump right out of bed and just like jump into my pants and shirt.
My big thing was who's got lunch with me, and where we eating lunch.
Yeah, that was a big one for like junior high, high school. But I'm thinking of like elementary school, like what I was gonna wear. Was it like I'm sure oh, I can't wait till they see the Batman shirt I got. I got my new Reebok pumps. Actually, they were off-brand Reebok pumps. Like I would put like masking tape. I'd be like, no, trust me, they're Reeboks.
Trust me. They were hometown farmers auction shoes, but they were cool enough. All right, so number one, we'll go back to number one. I saw this when I was researching the 28-game playoff. ESPN ran the NCAA 2026 or 25, whatever, video game simulation a whole 25 times. So they got a lot of good data here. So in their simulations in this video game, the Big Ten scored more college football playoff bids than the SEC. However, every SEC program got into the playoffs at least once, except for Kentucky. So if you're a fan of either the Big Ten or the SEC, what can you derive from this video game simulation?
Very little.
A simulation that put Vanderbilt in the playoffs, in a 12-team playoff.
I think that right there disqualifies it as any kind of predictor.
Have you ever seen these things that they do? Like, we're going to run this simulation.
I've seen it. Like last year, they did it around like the college football playoff, where they would simulate the tournament. Because I remember Penn State won it, and like a bunch of people around here were like, "Oh my god, a video game just told me we're gonna win." Although I make fun, but if like Michigan had won, I'd be like, Max, guess what happened?
Hail to the victors! It's clicks and content, I guess. If there's nothing else to read, this is a tough part of the year, like because it's so much preview, and I think the sports editors will be like, "Come on, let's just get the season started." We're writing about a video game now. Good grief!
There's so much demand for football content and so little. Worthy
so little football content.
So little football. Yeah, I mean, a lot of outlets kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel just to be like, this is kind of about football. Please read.
Well, here you go. Here's some more bottom of the barrel stuff for you. Number two, a site called All Time Sports Culture ranked their top 10 college towns, and Ann Arbor, Michigan came in at number one. Yay. But neither Indiana, Pennsylvania, nor Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania made their top 10. Amazing. As a student, for you back in the day, what was Bloomsburg like on game day for you?
I wasn't like, people think of like college and Bloomsburg especially kind of has a reputation as being a bit of a party school.
Indiana has a bigger reputation, so I'm with you.
But that was not my experience. I think of like walking up to the stadium, hearing the band. The leaves are changing. Redmond Stadium has a beautiful view of the Susquehanna Valley. Like, that's what I associate, like the smell of like frying food and just, that kind of stuff.
Miller Stadium at IUP does not have a good view. We'll put it that way. It's like Redmond on the end of campus and blah.
Yeah, Redmond is up the hill on Upper Campus, and you just get to look over the whole valley.
Now they've rebuilt. They have a new basketball facility at IUP, so that game day might be different. But I mean, game day at IUP for me, my freshman year, my first semester there, I remember my dorm was on the 8th floor of Lawrence Hall, which kind of overlooked the field. And if I didn't feel like going to the game, like if I wanted to watch Michigan or like ABC, like football on TV, I had a chair that I could watch the TV and then watch out the window. I went to the first game just because I'm like, I want to go to the first game and see what college football is like here. And I remember they ran 24 blast, and when the fullback hit the linebacker, like the world shook a little, and I thought, holy cow, this is incredible. But I would watch from my room a lot, so I could kind of double watch. So like no tailgating, there was none of that at IUP. It was very laid back, even though they were a perennial playoff team back then.
Ask our producer, where's the IUP? Do IUP and Bloomsburg play this year? And if so, where's it at?
We'll talk about the PSAC preview special either next week or 2 weeks. So we're gonna try to get that 64-year-old guy from Lycoming or Lackawanna College on just to see what college football is like for him. I don't know if we're gonna get him on for a Saturday live spot. It might be we'll try to do a recording on Wednesday and we'll put that on the page. But yeah, we'll talk. The PSAC definitely coming up. The first game, PSAC football schedule. When the composite schedule for them, because here's the other thing about that's weird about college football. They don't do scrimmages. August 28th. So we have 2 weeks or so. Clarion hosts Wheeling, and that kind of opens PSAC play. Bloomsburg will open Thursday, September 4th against Fairmont State, while IUP hosts Ashland on Thursday.
Did you say BU opens at home on a Thursday?
No, Bloomsburg is on the road at Fairmont State.
Oh, okay.
I clicked on their link like a fool, and it took me to their page is nuts. Yeah. Football schedule for Bloomsburg, Fairmont, Seton Hill, Edinburgh, Shippensburg. They're at Shippensburg, so if you want to come down to that game, it's right up the road. They do not play IUP. They don't have a cross division game against them. So perhaps the PSAC championship game, they will get a chance to play.
Go Huskies.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Number 3, WNBA news. Caitlin Clark has missed the Fever's last 12 games and 20 games total with a groin injury. Now, back in late July, the injury report on ESPN's website said that Clark's estimated return date was August 12th. Well, spoiler alert, that didn't happen. And their website currently says that Clark's estimated return is now August 26th. Despite this injury, the Fever are currently in 7th place. 8 teams make the playoffs. How much do you think they need a healthy Clark to make the playoffs? Because I think if they want to make any noise in the playoffs, it's pretty clear they need her. Do they need her to make the playoffs, though?
I think they can hold down the fort until the 26th and still make the playoffs. If they don't have her for the playoffs, they're a first round bounce. They're done. If she's back and not rusty and completely healthy and the normal Caitlin Clark, though, I don't know that anyone in the WNBA wants to see them on the other half of the bracket.
Gotcha. All right. So now we get to the back to school stuff. We talked about that. Cool. Number 5, as previously reported, first here on Super Meatballs, Derek rocked out Mamma Mia. I sang this drumming thing. I'm going to see if I'm allowed to post the 1-minute video clip of his awesome drum solo. But Mamma Mia is a musical with like all kinds of ABBA songs. Tim, do you have a favorite ABBA song?
I have an ABBA sticker on my guitar. I really enjoy ABBA. My favorite ABBA song is either Gimme, Gimme, Gimme or, maybe The Winner Takes It All is a good one. Fernando's when that chorus kicks in, come on. Goosebumps.
Low key banger, I believe.
Not even low key, just straight up banger.
Straight up
Swedish banger.
I like the Money song from the show. So Derek's drum solo was in this song called Voulez-Vous, and I told Jen this, that we were driving to Philly, and like she had the soundtrack playing because she was still blocking. This was back in, I want to say June, so I will. And I was sick, so she was driving, I was trying to sleep, and this Voulez-Vous song came on, and like one line in the song started playing in my head on repeat, and I heard something that's not the actual lyric. Like sometimes I'll do this, like I'll sing different lyrics in my head, and then it got stuck there. So I despite Derek's awesome drum solo, if I never hear that song again, I will be happy. Last one, number 6. This was added to the script at literally like 9:56 as I was doing my final show prep. I saw a video on TikTok of this teacher who is basically talking to his students. He's like, look, I know you found me. It's super cool, whatever. But like, let's keep the comment section, like don't be arguing with each other on my social media. That's stupid. So I thought, like, I wonder from the teachers we had back in the day, which teacher do you think would be the most entertaining on TikTok? Not today, but like back then.
I'm gonna go with. She was my English teacher, and she was always a lot of fun, Mrs. Karen Jackson. Karen Jackson. We're Facebook friends still to this day. Just an awesome lady, and I think if she were teaching now, she would find some fun way to incorporate like TikTok or social media.
Okay. What would she talk about? Like, what would her shtick be?
You know,
Like I try to review board games on my TikTok, but I do like a video every 3 months. So.
I could see her doing something like a virtual book club.
Book talk, yeah, that's the thing. Like honestly, you can get on TikTok and find anything you want, and the books are a big sub genre there. Yeah,
she was like low key the cool teacher. Like I remember being in Walden Books at the Laurel Mall. This would have been like 1996, and I was just like reading, and I hear someone come up behind me, and I hear their voice, and she says, "Yeah, like you read," and I was like, "Mrs. Jackson."
Well, good. If I thought about this, I like storytellers, so I think Joe Gavio would be wild on TikTok. And
oh God, yeah.
I remember when I used to interview him, I didn't even have to ask him a question. I just put a microphone and he'd just talk. He'd give you 12 sound bites just on one question. It was tremendous.
I'll throw out one other name, Mr. Rutsky, the Spanish teacher.
So I have Gavio and D'Agostino as storytellers. Because Dag, I mean, I was not a big, massive history fan. Mrs. Leitner was a good storyteller in 9th grade. Like, I got a good grade because she actually taught and told stories. 10th grade history, I was not a big fan of my 10th grade history teacher, but 11th grade with D'Agostino, I think Dr. Sosar would be interesting on TikTok. He would be more of like, he'd be probably in the political side of TikTok.
Yeah, I could see that.
But Rutsky made the list. And what did I write down? Rutsky would be wild because I can't. He would just be.
Because he used to sing to us in class. Because like he would always sing "Mañana, mañana." Like I could see him like singing a different song each day in Spanish.
Oh yeah, that would be great. I forgot about the Mañana song.
Yeah,
I just remembered. It's a cognate. Hair.
The infinitive, a star.
that was he had this really weird, screechy,
like nasally.
Yeah. And he was all of about 75 pounds. He was a small dude.
I just remember being in his class when the OJ verdict was read, and we were like, "Mr. Rutsky, come on, just please put it on the TV." He's like, "Are they reading it in Spanish?" No, they're not.
I wasn't in that class. No.
This would have been 11th grade. You and I had Rutsky in 10th grade. I had him again in 11th.
I had Mr. Connolly in 11th. He put the radio on. And I think Mr. Connolly would be a terrible TikToker, by the way. He told bad jokes, but I don't think he had the personality for TikTok. But good. I think, right where I expected it. I saw Karen Jackson and I wrote down Rutsky. So, all right, good deal. All right, hey, it's draft time here on Soup and Meatballs, and what are we drafting today, Tim? As I get my famous American document deck.
We're drafting. We did our favorite football players from a team other than our own. This week we're doing baseball players who, in my case, we're not ever a member of the Boston Red Sox. In your case, never a New York Yankee.
There we go. Exactly. So, number and color.
I went 4 black last week. I went 4 red last week. I'm gonna go 4 red again.
4 red. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3. Here's number 4. You know what? I need you to hold on for 1 second.
Oh boy.
I need to look. I'm inclined to give it to you. Yes, I will give it to you, and here's why. It's the Joker. But it's the red Joker. Here's the black Joker. So like it exists. The red Joker is the Social Security Act of 1965. This act was signed by President Lyndon Johnson in Independence, Missouri, establishing Medicare. So that is the red Joker in this deck. So I was going to give it to you because it's a Joker anyway, but there's a black Joker, so it makes total sense.
And R.I.P. Medicare, by the way. We hardly knew ye.
We hardly knew you from 1965. So you got the top pick in the draft. I got to write Tim picks first. Where are we going?
You know where we're going. I had him on my football team. I'm taking him on my baseball team. I want Bo Jackson.
Rulo?
give me Bo Jackson.
He was not. So I listed mine. I don't know if I ranked them though. And again, this is a product of me not really doing a lot of show prep. I don't know if you know that there was this Mamma Mia show this weekend, but yeah, Bo Jackson. I didn't even have to look up names. Just a cool guy. Favorite Bo Jackson memory for you seeing him live? I imagine.
Yeah, I got to see him July of '88 when we still lived in Jersey. It was my first baseball game, and I got to see Bo Jackson in the seventh inning rob a home run from Jack Clark.
The All-Star Game home run where I forget who Ronald Reagan. I think it was
Ronald Reagan was in the booth, and Bo led off the game and put one in the fountain.
How about that? Whatever the call was.
Just that hose where he throws out Harold Reynolds at the old Kingdom.
Oh, and Harold Reynolds was no slouch. Like
he was a stolen base champion. He was good for 60 or 70 steals a year.
Yeah, exactly. So
Bo did over his helmet, over his knee. Just a freak.
Just a freak. Yeah. So I mean, easy top pick. My number one pick. He would never be a Yankee because he hated the Yankees. And he hated the Yankees because I think the way they treated his dad. And I didn't know about this until later. So, but I mean, watching any kid in the 90s who wore their hat backwards did it because of Ken Griffey Jr. And being a center fielder, I used to love watching Ken Griffey Jr. So, like, not knowing that he hated the Yankees helped, I think. But, yeah, we're going with the kid number one.
Yeah, he was on my list. I was lucky enough to see him in person as well. 1990, the Mariners came to Yankee Stadium, and just the sweetest swing you ever saw, just the most graceful, bat whipping through from the left side, and then like that statuesque follow through while he's watching it just, leave the stadium. And as beautiful as it was watching him hit, it was just as beautiful watching him play center field.
It was really surprising to see him go to Cincinnati. Like, that was one of those, like, man, what are you doing? And then he got hurt, which was like a bummer.
You really do wonder if he'd stayed healthy in the back half of his career.
Well, how high does that number go?
Yeah, if he would have gotten to 700 home runs.
I don't know. Hard to say he wouldn't, but yeah, health, big factor.
He was kind of like, and this is going to sound like hyperbole, but hear me out. He was kind of like baseball's LeBron James in the 90s, like a number one overall pick who everyone was like, this is the guy. This is the chosen one. Yeah. And like any 90s kid, like you said, they imitated the swing. They wore their hat backwards. Just, yeah.
I wonder what Griffey's like if social media exists back in 1990.
Oh, my God, yeah. Like, his highlights would have dominated. Like, TikTok highlights of him doing some of the stuff he did. Our
number ones are we're going to go straight downhill from here. Unfortunately,
yeah, we set the bar pretty high.
Yeah,
my number two was one of my favorite players in the 90s. I had a poster of him in my bedroom. My Spanish name in Mrs. Eichhorn's Spanish class was Francisco Tomas.
I already wrote it down.
Yeah, because I loved the Big Hurt.
Oh yeah, and he was on my list too. Dude, here's a guy who legitimately played tight end at Auburn. So big, so strong.
6'5", 250, just a tank.
I mean, if we ranked, I think we did rank nicknames. I forget what show it was. I mean, the Big Hurt. Holy cow!
Yeah. And I remember him at the home run derby. Him and Griffey in '94 at Old Three Rivers, and Griffey, I believe, won the derby. But Thomas hit a home run that went about 520 feet. Boy, I don't know if that thing's landed yet.
It's 35 years later. I caught it.
Like that thing's, up there with the International Space Station.
He hit that one to Milwaukee.
And he's another guy who just, with his build, he kind of broke down in the latter half of his career, kind of hung on with like Oakland and that.
Frank Thomason, wearing an A's jersey, wearing a Blue Jays jersey, it looked weird.
Yeah.
It's like Emmitt Smith in Arizona. Like,
in my mind, he's always just going to be that big, powerful dude from the right-hand side in those White Sox pinstripes.
Yeah. Like those White Sox teams, again, like when Bo was there and like I was following them too, like they had good teams. Like Jack McDowell was there.
Robin Ventura.
Yeah. Playoff contenders back when, we only had 4 playoff teams.
Yeah.
in the American League West.
Ray Durham, a very underrated all-star type second baseman around that time. Ozzie Guillen. Yeah.
I was trying to think of the other pitcher that had like now I have to look it up because it's going to drive me nuts. They had a pitcher who perhaps post
Aaron
McDowell. No, like this guy was
Wilson Alvarez.
Alvarez, that's who I'm thinking of. Who had like just a tremendous year.
Yeah, they had a couple of those guys because Jason Beret had like a brief, bright White Sox career around that time.
His first year. Alvarez, I think it was his 93, the year I was thinking of when he was 15-8. And the White Sox, they won the West that year. But that was a year that they didn't have they did have McDowell. And McDowell went 22-10 that year, won the Cy Young. So
yeah.
What do I know? And
then he went to the Bronx.
Yeah, so I mean, McDowell might have made my list had he not pitched in New York. So, there's that. My number 2, I got a lot of guys to pick from. I love seeing stats about this guy now. I appreciate him more now than I did when he was playing. Just because, I guess. I mean, I'm going to take Tony Gwynn. Who's a guy that I when I see on TikTok or YouTube when I'm scrolling through and I see like little mini documentaries about him, I'm amazed at just his approach to hitting. I've seen him I don't know when he was coaching or talking to a group of kids, or a group of college kids about how he approached hitting. It is incredibly interesting and just fascinating to watch this guy who 375 pounds talk about like such an athletic feat as hitting a baseball.
Gwynn made my list as well. I loved Gwynn as a kid, and we think of him as being like you said, like a bigger kind of roly-poly guy. He stole 56 bases in '87.
Yeah, wasn't always the case.
He was like an outstanding point guard in college at San Diego State. He graduated as the program's career assist leader.
That's right.
He had more assists in college than he had strikeouts in a 20-year pro career. That's a true fact.
I saw that. That's crazy.
And just a beautiful afro when he was playing at San Diego State. Just kept it tight. Before he went to the Jerry curl look.
Yeah. Which in the 80s he was looking like I can't think of the Coming to America reference, but I lost it. Soul Glow.
I'll say this about him too. Like when he retired, he could have gone, with his knowledge of hitting, he could have gone on like Baseball Tonight or a broadcast booth or something like that and made millions. And I think it says a lot about him that he went back to his alma mater to coach the baseball team.
That's where I saw him coaching. There you go.
Yeah. Great pick. Loved Tony Gwynn. I'm going to go with a guy who's a little more recent, but from his rookie year, I remember buying a bobblehead of him because I was just so fascinated with this guy. A player unlike any other, just his combination of skills, and that's going to be Ichiro.
Okay. Yeah, he probably would have been my number 1 pick, but I can't.
Right. Yeah.
He played New York. Yeah. Oh, cool. And really for me, it was because of the profanity-laden all-star talks. Like, so versatile both on and off the field.
And just this skinny little, nothing to him. And he would get up there and he had that unique stance where he'd point the bat at the pitcher and kind of just get ready. And then you don't see a lot of slap hitters outside of softball, but with his speed, and for him to get to 3,000 hits when he didn't get to the big leagues until he was 27.
Yeah. I got to see this. Let me get my producer on the line. How many hits Ichiro Japan? I think there was like 15. He had 1,278 hits in Japan before he made it to Major League Baseball. So you said 27 years old.
And I mean, the major league record is 4,256 for career hits. Ichiro would have been, if it had been a different culture where Japanese players were more accepted and more free to come to the major leagues. Yeah. He really might have had a run at Pete Rose.
Yeah. No, and that's not hyperbole. But again, as a slap hitter, he's out there hitting.
Everyone thought George Sisler's 257 hits was unbreakable. Like, it's tough enough to get 200 hits in a season, let alone 50 more. And then for Ichiro, very early on in his career, to go, what was it, 262? Like, that's to almost get 300 hits in a season?
It's mind-boggling. Yeah, and I saw a graphic. Like, it comes up on my Facebook memories every year, obviously, but it was recently where it was the spread chart of all of Ichiro's hits. And, like, they colored it. Like, yellow was singles, blue was home runs or whatever. The entire outfield was yellow. It was so wild. He hit to all fields. And he had power if he wanted it.
But here's the thing. For him to do what he did in the steroid era and show that there was a different way to have an offensive impact on the game other than hitting 40 home runs a year was incredibly refreshing.
Yes. I absolutely.
We talked about Bo Jackson's arm and the throw he made at the Kingdome. Talk about a hose. Ichiro could throw it with the best of them.
Yeah. Great pick. So, I mean, for mine, I'm torn here. I'm going to go recent as well, and it's so he's a guy who it's primarily because of his position, and a guy I'd love to see in New York someday, who has a nice combination of power, speed, and defense. The center fielder for the Mariners right now, Julio Rodriguez. But he's fun to watch. For me, he's fun to watch. And when his contract came up and there was talk of, New York maybe going after him, like, I looked at his numbers and said, you know what? Yeah, I would take him right now and twice on Sunday.
And I mean, that guy just physically a beast. Just a monster.
If I look at me, he's 6'3", 230, which as a center fielder feels big.
Right. He looks like a linebacker.
Yeah. But I'm looking at his baseball reference page right now. His picture looks like a linebacker would look. Because he's not happy, he's not smiling, he's just looking at you. No, I enjoy watching him whenever he's not playing New York. We'll put it that way.
And it's funny because he's a guy who's kind of flown under the radar a little bit.
The product of being in Seattle.
Right. He's the guy who I think, with Seattle potentially, hopefully getting into the playoffs would be a lot of fun. Just like I was saying with Bobby Witt getting a national showcase. He's another one.
Number 4.
For my number 4, I'm going to go with a guy who might surprise you. But I remember just being amazed by this guy during the 87 season, especially. He was friends with someone who was more heralded. I believe they were high school teammates. He was a teammate of Darryl Strawberry's, but I loved watching Eric Davis. Eric
Davis.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
like
I remember the
40-40, everyone thought it was going to be Eric Davis because he hit 37 home runs in 87. And he was a guy who could just steal with the best of them. Played beautiful outfield. He was the big
bat of the 90s, the Reds World Series team.
Yeah. And then just kind of got derailed, had his time in Baltimore. But him at his peak, from 87 to 92, he was as fun as anyone I've seen.
No, if I can recall the name from the 80s, that means they were a big deal. And I guess I remember the 90 team, because that's kind of really when I started at least expanding my watching of baseball outside of what Don Mattingly and Mike Peggy the Ruler were doing. Uh,
Rick
that
Throne.
the 90 team, yeah, the 90 team though, like I think he would have been like their best hitter, like he was their Jose Canseco, like you said.
Yeah,
Um,
that 90 team was like an interesting case where they didn't have anyone who hit 30 home runs. I think Paul O'Neill might have led them in home runs that year. Paul O'Neill was their right fielder, but they just
I
had a
remember
lot of.
Chris Sabo, another third baseman.
Yeah, Chris Sabo at third. They had Mariano Duncan at second. The great Barry Larkin, Hall of Famer, at short. I remember them being such seemingly big underdogs to that A's team that had won the '89 Earthquake series and had made they won the AL for the third straight time, and the Reds just ran them.
The leader in home runs on that 1990 Cincinnati Reds team was in fact not Paul O'Neill. He finished third.
Hal Morris?
Hal Morris. My goodness, no. Hal Morris only had 7.
Todd Benzinger?
Todd Benzinger. Now you're flexing. You're just listing all the Cincinnati Reds. No, he had 5. The aforementioned Chris Sabo.
How many did Sabo hit?
25.
He had that rec spec power.
But Eric Davis hit 24. So I think two-time Silver Slugger, 3-time Gold Glove winner, and if everybody's favorite awardee won the Home Run Derby.
Yeah, just like 85, 86, 87 is when I really fell in love with baseball. And as like an 8-year-old kid, I was just like, this is the best player in the game.
Yeah. A 17-year career. Eric Davis was playing baseball in 2001.
Wow.
Not well. I mean, he had a negative WAR for the Giants, but I mean, he had 171 plate appearances, hit 205. Shoot, I mean,
north of the Mendoza.
He had 32 more hits than you and I combined in 2001.
Oh, Eric Davis, how far we've fallen.
It's incredible, though. Like his rookie year of 1984, he played baseball in 2001.
And can you ask your producer? I know him and Darryl Strawberry were both LA kids, but did they go to the same high school? I think they came out of the same high school baseball program in LA.
Eric Davis went to Fremont High School, and let's see here, some other drafted players from Fremont. I mean, let's rank them by WAR. I don't see Darryl Strawberry on this list.
So they might have been high school rivals because Strawberry was a rookie in '83. So
Darryl Strawberry. Yeah, Darryl Strawberry went to a very famous high school in Los Angeles, Crenshaw.
Okay.
Players who went to Crenshaw as well. Chris Brown with the Giants, and Ellis Valentine. They're both minor leaguers. Ellis Valentine, I think, saw a cup of coffee in Montreal. Oh, no. Yeah, what do I know? 10 years in Montreal. So There we go. Good pick. Good discussion. Thank you, Eric Davis. I don't think mine is going to elicit anywhere near that because, I like this guy because it's the documentaries I see based on the horrible tragedy that befell him. I'm going to take the right fielder from Pittsburgh, Roberto Clemente.
Okay.
It's not that I ever saw him play. It's just like I see a lot of baseball online, or like I scroll through TikTok, and the fact that he hit 3,000 hits on the button. Yeah. That's so neat, but it's such a sad story with the accident, and he was so beloved in Pittsburgh, which is an area that my wife has family in, so I see a lot of Pirates stuff. I think my TikTok knows when I'm out in Pittsburgh because it's, oh, look at this, Jerome Bettis, oh, here we go, Levon Kirkland, but Roberto Clemente as well. And he was such a beloved figure to those fans, And like a buddy of mine, I play board games with, who's a big Pirates fan. And Clemente is his favorite player, and he talks about him a lot. And the number 21 doesn't hurt. So
And
there's not a lot of
beyond,
players who haven't played for the Yankees. So I'm really scraping now.
beyond that, though, he's like impact wise, he's essentially the Puerto Rican Jackie Robinson.
Yeah,
He's the guy who kicked open the door for Latin American Hispanic players.
And that's what a lot of the documentaries that I see about him are about.
And it kind of goes unspoken that everyone knows the extent of the racism that Jackie Robinson faced, but Clemente got that too, where people, if he would sit out of the lineup, they would be like, "Oh, lazy." They would try to use stereotypes against him. Reporters would use his quotes and they would write them in like broken English rather than like what he'd said.
I didn't know that. See, that's stuff that you hear on Soup and Meatballs you don't hear anywhere else.
Yeah, he really went through some hardship, and one of the best outfielders of his generation, certainly defensively. Again, you talk about a guy who could get it to the infield in a hurry.
I was going to say another cannon.
Only player in baseball history to hit a walk-off inside the park grand slam.
Wow, that's cool.
Only one time in history, and it was Clemente. That's a good pick. I'm between a couple different names here, but I think for my number 5, I have to go with a guy who, if you look at him, he looks like he could be your cardiologist, and yet he might have been the best pitcher, non-Red Sox, that I've seen, and that's Greg Maddux.
Greg Maddux. Yeah, I thought about a lot of the Braves pitching staff back then, and Maddux, when I was talking about, when I think about Tony Gwynn, there was a great quote from Greg Maddux, something about about
how like hitters are limited by the inherent limitations of human sight, except for Tony Gwynn.
Son of a bitch, Tony Gwynn.
Yeah. And we can talk about the pinpoint control and the way that he thought through the game, and how he would store information to attack hitters, weeks and months later. But
what? I got to write this down here because I forgot to.
But
I think it was Houston. They were playing
as well.
The video about Houston. They played. I think it was Jeff Bagwell. He gave up a home run on purpose.
Yeah, and then it came back in the playoffs.
And he's like, "Well, this is what he's," and he knew that. Like he was like that next level.
There's one that it's sort of become famous. A clip, I forget what year, maybe 2000 or 2001, where Atlanta's playing Arizona, and Bobby Cox sends Leo Mazzoni out to take Maddux out of the game, and Maddux goes, "No, I'm going to tell you what. Give me 2 pitches. I'm going to throw one low and outside, and I'm going to hit him with a cutter low and in, and I'm going to get him to pop out to third." And so Mazzoni walks back, and Bobby Cox, goes on a rant like, I told you to get him out of the game. Maddux does exactly what he said. He pops up Luis Gonzalez to Chipper Jones at third and just walks off the mound. And then you can even see in the clip that it cuts back to the dugout where Bobby Cox and Mazzoni are just shaking their heads and laughing that he did. It's like Babe Ruth calling his shot in the World Series, except we have video proof.
That's amazing.
Just you talk about 4D chess. Greg Maddux was playing 4D chess out there.
No. And when you think about pitchers from the 90s, his fastball was 89. That's the thing about him. And you're not wrong about when he said he could be your cardiologist. I mean, he pitched a complete game with 86 pitches. It was like an hour and a half. And he's like, well, I had to go home and read a book or something.
Yeah, I mean, the typical Greg Maddux start was, barely longer than the Naked Gun. Like he'd have you in and out of there in a tight 2.
Serious, yeah. That's a great pick. As I look at my list, it is decidedly hitter centric. I feel bad I didn't consider pitchers. I will completely blame my lack of show preparation here for that. I don't know if you heard, there was a show this weekend.
Mamma mia.
So my number 5, I'm going to cheat a little because this guy in 1981 was drafted by the New York Yankees in the 9th round, but before he played a minute in the Bronx, he was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays for Tom Dodd and Dale Murray, not Dale Murphy, Dale Murray. And I like this guy because of his cool swing. It's how I golf. When I golf, I would have the little screwy thing with the club over my head.
Crime Dog?
Fred McGriff was just cool to watch.
Yeah, so, I'm amazed he never once hit himself in the ear with his bat.
Which that was his thing, and you know, he played for a bunch of different teams.
San Diego, he was good in San Diego.
That's how I knew he wasn't a Yankee, or he was drafted by the Yankees, because I looked it up. I'm like, did he ever play like in like 2003? Did they sign him? No, he was a Dodger in 2003. There's another guy who played 19 years. 40-year-old playing for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
He bounced around his big years in Toronto and Atlanta, but Tampa Bay he stopped in for 5. He was a Padre for 3, Cub for 2. 86 games for the Dodgers.
You know what made him so good? He played baseball the Tom Amansky way.
Yes.
I couldn't get my hat to sit on top of my hair quite as effectively as, and also we were talking about great nicknames. Crime Dog is a fantastic nickname.
That's because his name is McGriff, and for the kids today who might be watching this who don't know,
take a bite out of crime.
What McGruff was.
Yeah, but I think it's even cooler without that context to just be called Crime Dog.
Yeah, well, I mean, without the context, I mean, is he a police dog? Is he a criminal? Like, I
think he work for the DEA in the off season.
But I mean, looking at his accolades, Hall of Fame, only a 5-time All-Star. Like one of the guys on my list who didn't make the cut here, Kyle Schwarber. You asked, was Kyle Schwarber a Hall of Famer? And like I was surprised that Kyle Schwarber only made the All-Star team 3 times. Fred McGriff only a 5-time All-Star.
Yeah, well, and you know,
at a tough position.
Yeah, I was just going to say, first base, you really need to put up good first half power numbers.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at some of the guys at first base in the National League, especially where he was going up against, like Andres Galarraga, Will Clark, Jack Clark when he was with the Cardinals, Pedro Guerrero was a really good one.
But number-wise, he doesn't hit any of the big numbers. Doesn't hit 500 home runs. Doesn't hit 3,000 hits.
Though, right?
493.
490. Oh, that's Gehrig. That's close enough.
Yeah.
And the aforementioned 1994 All-Star game. He's a big reason why the National League won, because the NL was trailing and he hit the home run that tied it to send it to extras. Where then Tony Gwynn drove in, Tony Gwynn got driven in by Moises Alou in extra innings for the National League to win.
Excellent.
Great All-Star game.
Amazing.
You and I watched that in my parents' living room, July of '94. I
was there, and I remember very little of that, but
you were there in theory, if not in memory.
I was physically there, mentally, who knows? But who else made your list? Didn't make the cut though.
Chase Utley is a guy who I just, you talk about a gamer, like a hard-nosed type player. I just like the way he approached the game. This was one where I was going to maybe cherry pick a little bit, but Mattingly, I couldn't. In the 80s, I saw a lot of Yankees baseball growing up in Jersey. They were always on WPIX. So I got to, and I can remember in '87 when he hit the 8 straight home runs in 8 straight games.
Yeah.
And then
my favorite Mattingly stat, I think, is he hit 6 grand slams in his career. They're all in the same year.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild to me.
And 2 others, it's funny that they'd be linked together because they were in an infamous brawl at second base in an 80s game. But Ozzie Smith, who cheap-shotted Will Clark Two
Okay.
guys I love to watch play. And you talk about beautiful lefty swings. Will Clark is a very close runner-up to Griffey. Just gorgeous swing.
Will Clark's another guy I see videos of online talking about, his the best story he had was he's talking about a spring training game with Ricky Henderson, and
Ricky gone.
Ricky wanted to steal second base, and LaRousse is like, he wanted to see this at bat with a runner on first, and Will Clark is goading him into stealing second. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Ricky gone."
Ricky gone.
And he gets to second base and he yells, "Hey, Thrill! I told you, Ricky gone."
Henderson's one who would have possibly been on my list.
Yeah, again, there's so many people played in New York. This was tough for me to actually like. Yeah, I appreciate these guys for what they are. The other guys I had on my list, I like seeing Fernando Tatis. He's just fun to see. And I put Stan Musial down really because he's a fraternity brother of mine, and like that was the I have to come up with 10 names just in case Tim is drafting Julio Rodriguez. I miss on Roberto Clemente.
I just thought of one more in the moment, but another one, just like a great character who had a short window of greatness, but Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, died recently at a fairly young age, but the late, great Fernando Valenzuela.
Fernando Mania, taking over LA.
And what we'd said about Clemente being like the Puerto Rican Jackie Robinson, Valenzuela was like the Mexican Jackie Robinson, just a hero in Southern California.
It was the right place and right time for him.
Yeah, Fernando Mania.
Good deal. So there's our Soup and Meatball draft. That's tough. Like I thought to myself, what Red Sox could I put on the list? That might be a different thing where we draft. Like I don't know. Did we draft players from the Red Sox and Yankees? Did we flip flop?
I don't think we've done that. But
that's something we could possibly do. I have a list of like people, but to have exclusively played for Boston and not like David Wells wouldn't count.
Right.
That would take some thought. But
Mattingly would make mine.
There you go. That's future Max and Tim's problem. We'll see if we ever do that. The top 5 this week was inspired by something I saw online. It was just this little picture, and it's an interesting, fun little thing. Nothing to do with sports, nothing to do with pop culture. But if you were to break into someone's house and steal something, but you could only steal something that would mildly inconvenience them, like you're not stealing the crown jewels, you're not stealing all of the money they have in the house. So, what would you steal from someone to just randomly inconvenience them? So you said you took this from me.
Yeah, I was trying to think specifically what would really make you just like when you realize what happened, be like, damn it, hair. God.
Please don't steal my Lego spaceship. No,
but I was gleefully. This is why I was rubbing my hands like a villain at the start of the show. I was trying to convey the glee I felt as I was making my list, my sloppily, hastily.
It's not even on a bill this week.
No, well,
reporter's notebook stuff.
Little peek into my life. The 15th of every month, that's when I write all my bills and I send them all out at once.
As it is the 17th, your bills are paid. Well done.
You're welcome, PP&L.
There we go. I have a list of 10 things because some of them are they kind of blend together. So
I also have 10 things.
Cool. Then this is our top 10 list. Starting with my number 1, I'm going to break into every board game you have, and I'm going to steal all your dice.
Okay, yeah, that is decidedly inconvenient.
I don't
own any board games, though.
Well, I mean, I'm not breaking into your house. I thought to myself, I'm looking around here, what could they take that would really piss me off? I did a TikTok video a couple months ago about I love dice. I do. I don't know why. They're cool to hold. They're cool to throw. So I would take all your dice, and I would have a swimming pool made of them, and then you could never play any game that has dice, or you'd have to go buy your own.
Well, the first thing I thought of was inspired by the title of the podcast. I'm going to sneak into your house. I'm going to make my way into your kitchen, and I'm going to steal every fork.
Oh, okay.
Good luck eating a meatball with your bare hands like a damn animal.
I thought you were going to say you were going to steal the meatballs.
Palms.
I thought you said you were going to steal the meatballs because I think I actually have 2 meatballs up in the fridge right now.
Jen, did you eat the last of the meatballs? No, you're going forkless, friend.
No, I'm looking at my list. I don't have cutlery on there, but that's an interesting. I could probably like stab it with a knife and like eat it like meatball on a stick,
caveman style.
I would have, and to be fair, full disclosure, how I eat meatballs after the show, I will put them in the microwave and I stick them with a fork, but I eat them like that, so I'd have to do it with a knife.
How? Quick question: how long did your leftovers last from last week when we got lunch?
Oh, a couple days.
Oh, wow.
And show week. I don't know if you heard. Jen did a show this weekend. Our grocery shopping suffers during. She had 2 weeks of tech rehearsal. Our grocery shopping certainly suffers, and her sister came into town, so we ate out a lot. A lot of leftovers in the fridge, so it kind of there was a rotation of leftovers through there.
Real quick, what show is she doing?
She did Mamma Mia this summer, and if you're interested, next January or February ish, she doesn't have a date set, but she's doing Beetlejuice. Ooh. So that's a good time.
I see you, Jen Jamelli.
There you go. Number 2 on my list, and this is inspired by the pain I feel every morning. I think is based on this. I'm gonna steal every pillow you have in the house.
Oh,
big, small, decorative, whatever. I think the pillow. I have one of those foam memory pillows, but I think it's dying. I think the memory is dying in it. So I think that contributes to the neck pain. But it would be worse if I had no pillow. So I'm taking the pillows, man.
Like we've already talked about how like I wake up in the morning and like my back is already like Larry Bird at the '92 Olympics. So without a pillow, I would just be incapacitated.
Well, that's not mildly inconveniencing you. That's incapacitating you. So.
Also, I will say I did recently buy some throw pillows for my living room.
Oh, we found a throw pillow at the show yesterday that apparently was Jen's. I've never seen it in my life. So.
My number 2, and I don't know if this is like monetarily, I don't know the value, but it's certainly inconvenient. I would steal your modem. So then you'd be wondering, why is my Wi-Fi out? Like, what's the?
Oh no, that's not mildly inconveniencing me at all. That would incapacitate me. Oh,
yeah. I'm just walking right out with that modem.
Yoink.
Good luck watching, like streaming, trying to do work on the laptop.
You couldn't do the show.
You could post about it on Facebook, except whoops.
My data plan, I guess. Our dozens of viewers would be like, where are Tim and Max today?
Did Max get his modem stolen? I haven't seen the show.
I haven't seen the show. So if we're not on for a week, you don't see, during the week if you're clicking on that's what happened. Tim stole my modem. You dastardly criminal.
Again, like Babe Ruth at the 32 series, I'm calling my shot. That is mine.
My number 3 will incapacitate you a lot. I'm going to take every receptacle you have to drink out of, every cup, every glass, or mug. And this was inspired. Whenever I used to go visit my parents, my dad doesn't have a cup in the bathroom. So, like, I would have to take he takes his pills upstairs in the kitchen. But, like, I had to take my pills in the bathroom when I'm doing my prettying up in the morning.
Sure.
So, like, you ever try to take your pills with a handful of water?
No, I just bring a cup from the kitchen.
Well, the kitchen's upstairs, and I can't walk up that far.
I don't have a cup in my bathroom either. I just bring my little thermos with me and take my pills.
Not for long. Not after I take it. Good luck drinking your morning coffee or your morning orange juice or whatever out of a soup bowl.
I'll
leave the soup bowls because that's just mean.
I hate to admit this, but you would think like I would go out and just buy like cups like after that happened and be like, oh Max, but I probably would just drink out of a soup bowl for weeks.
Like a pot put on the stove. They just fill it up with water. And,
Yeah, yeah. I would not. I would not. A fairly easily resolvable situation, and I would not solve it.
yeah. Well, today, I mean, just get on Amazon and buy 50-cent cups. There you go. Going to the store to buy all this stuff would be a pain, but
My number 3. I am going to go into your bathroom. I'm going to lift the lid on the toilet tank, and I'm going to steal the chain on the lever, so that when you go to flush, inoperable. And now you got to what? You got to leave the bathroom unflushed, go to the hardware store to buy a new chain.
I've done this. I have done more handyman stuff on toilets in this house than anything else.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you knew my dad, and like growing up, like I mean, Greg here didn't know which end of a hammer to swing. So like, I wasn't exactly the handiest guy until I bought a house, and then suddenly I'm pouring concrete. I'm putting up fences.
I've never poured concrete. That's manly. Wow, look at you.
I'm basically Bob Vila.
Save some chicks for the rest of us, man. So, I mean, I'm going to piggyback now, and here's where, like, I'm giving you a threefer because I thought very similarly. Did you ever have to change a toilet seat?
Yes.
I hate that. And I've done it like 4 times in this house for various reasons.
Yeah, depending on the layout, it's tough to get the screwdriver into the back.
No, the plastic screw always strips.
Oh, at the bottom.
Yeah. So here are the 3 things from the toilet that I'm taking. Number 1, the nuts and bolts that connect the seat to the bowl, but just enough that it's shaky. Because like if you sit and like that drives me nuts.
Me too.
The seat's got to be tight. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, I said the whole flusher thing. You're taking the chain. I'm taking the
lever.
There's like a lever that has a stick at the bottom.
And the valve. Are you taking the valve too?
You can reach into the water and pull the chain. I won't be that mean to you. But then the other thing, I don't know what it's called, but it's broken in Maria has a little side bathroom that she gets ready in. The toilet paper holder thing. It has that spring in it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
you can find a way to put the toilet paper, like we did this in college because, college. We had the toilet paper on top of the toilet itself because, we were scums back in the day. But yeah, that was the 3-headed toilet monster that I have written down.
I think the toilet seat one is the worst of the 3. The best idea because it's the most inconvenient.
It's because I've changed so many seats and like they're loose. And I'm like tightening the thing in the back. I mean, it's not hard to do. It's like a nut and bolt situation. Like growing up, I just thought the toilet seat was part of the bowl itself. No,
same.
No, and it's screwed on there, and it's such a pain. So inconvenience the heck out of you with the shaky seat.
I don't know if this. I texted you where I was like, "Is there like a monetary like maximum or minimum?"
Yeah, like no, whatever. I don't know what value you're stealing from my house. Not the light here, because
I would take all your copies of car keys and house keys.
I can't tell you the last time we used the house key. So the car key and the car key, it's like we have one of those like we don't put the key in anymore. It's like the remote start thing.
Oh, like the fob.
Yeah, not being able to start the car. That's an incredible pain in the ass.
Yeah, because how are you going to get to like what the dealership to get another? You'll have to get an Uber, maybe.
I would say I would get on my bike, but I didn't go bike riding this summer, so the tires are empty. So I'd have to carry my bike to the Sheets, which is like 4 miles down the road. That would be like, hey neighbor guy, can you give me a ride?
Hey, can you get me down to the car dealership? This guy I do a podcast with stole all my keys.
That bum. No, and like kind of in that same vein, I'll piggyback off of that. Because I don't use house keys, I would steal someone's garage door opener.
Okay.
So if you have a garage, like, if I didn't have a garage door opener and I just had to get out and like turn the key and like open it, that would be heck with that.
I don't have a garage, so that's not as big a deal for me.
My dad is just starting to use his garage as a garage now, so that's kind of cool.
It's
Remember
no
what that
longer a
used to
storage
look
shed.
like? No, remember what it used to look like, just packed with stuff.
Yeah.
He did a couple dumpster runs, so it's usable. He's so happy. He's like, the dog thinks it's hot stuff getting out of the car in the garage. So good for him.
Fancy, Your Majesty. So I'm going to limit mine to 5.
Okay, I still have 3 more. Just roll out, man. Whatever you got.
Well, I'll just go on at length about my 5th one, and then I'll tell you what my others were.
Go ahead.
Kind of like I did with the baseball players.
Ooh.
I'm going to take every pen in your house, but I'm going to leave 2 pens behind that have no ink in them. Because then you're going to be like, all right, well, here, I found a pen. It doesn't work. You're going to go to the second pen and be like, all right, well, I have a backup. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
I'm going to show you something here. I have a cup here, and it's from...
The Coop.
That's cool. But, like, the pens that are in here, I don't even think this is a pen. I was trying to set up the paper for our roulette thing. I have a Yankee pen. They don't write. I have a Sharpie, but who writes with Sharpies?
I'm a Bic man myself.
I don't know what this is, but look at this guy. This was flex back in the day.
Oh yeah.
But none of them really write. I have one pen here. This is a Bic. I don't have a lot of pens here, period. So you'd have a hard time finding stuff to steal. I need to buy pens, but I mean, we just never do.
I mean, if you were to look around, like, I'm a big note taker, and like I just have slips of like.
I do too. I have stuff but it's really just this one pen doing the yolk's work. if I lose that, I'm lost. Please don't take my pen. Take the forks. I don't care.
I'll eat the meatballs with my hands. Leave me my pens.
Exactly. What else did you have?
Along the lines of your 3 for, I would take all the backup rolls of toilet paper, so that like once the one on the roll runs out, and you think you're all set, and nope. I'd take all your TV remotes.
I always have a T-shirt.
Yeah. I would take all your TV remotes.
Yeah, so I thought about that because I have. I don't know if you can try to scroll over. You kind of see like the TV here and the TV down here. I have a gaming TV that it's not connected to the cable. It's an older TV. You can't throw TVs away. So that I don't know where the remote is for that. So I literally do have to push the power button, and since it's connected to the switch right now, if I want to watch a DVD with Derek. So I don't know if I told you a couple of weeks ago, I gave him a choice. I said you could watch Memento, Dogma, or Seven, and he chose Seven. I think he wanted to watch like a creepy movie.
Yeah.
So we had connected the PlayStation to that TV, and then I had to try to find the volume and crank the volume up, because when I'm playing video games, I don't want to hear like Super Mario music like jamming out.
Right.
So trying to find the volume on that is an incredible pain. So yeah, and I don't know how you change the channel today.
Yeah. I thought that would be mildly.
You're old enough to remember black and white with the dial, right?
Sure.
And you had rabbit ears. You had the big like furniture TV, right?
Yeah, in the living room, like the 500-pound block of granite.
Jen's parents had that too. Like that was the flex back in the 80s. Like Bob and Miriam had a good sized box TV, but it wasn't on the floor. It was on a stand.
Right.
No, so yeah, the remotes, that's brutal.
The last one I'm gonna throw in here is I'm gonna take all of your left shoes.
That's okay. One of mine was taking all your socks. Have you ever worn shoes without socks?
I've never Crockett and Tubbsed it. No.
It's a pain. And what's funny is, like, I don't know if you heard, Jen did a show this past week, and we're going out to buy costumes for the kids. Like, she had to buy a lot of socks that were like no show socks,
Okay.
and I'm like, just tell the kids not to wear socks. But like that's uncomfortable. So I said all the socks. So you're taking the shoes. That's brutal.
I don't know why that became a fashion trend, because it's uncomfortable and then your shoes smell.
The back of your heel bleeds.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
If you have calloused feet, it's going to be uncomfortable walking.
I have students sometimes ask me for Band-Aids, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're bleeding. They're like, no, I just have a blister on my foot. I'm like, well, wear socks. They're like, oh, I can't.
I got a blister on my foot at the concert.
From just from standing?
Standing, and then like between shows, like walking around the stadium, going to vendors, things like that.
Okay.
I think it's more the shoes that I chose were a poor choice.
And get better shoes, I guess.
I'm going sneaker shopping later today.
Ooh, that'll be exciting.
I'm gonna be the talk of the mall walking circuit.
Is there a mall walking circuit anymore?
Probably not. I don't know how the Columbia Mall is still open.
Among the things my dad and I talked about for 3 hours was the Chambersburg Mall and like what should be put there. And we've discovered, I thought the company that owned it was based out of Minnesota. They're actually based out of New York. They have like 350 properties, and I wonder how many of them are dead properties, because Chambersburg Mall is certainly one of them. So the other two that made my list, the knobby things that turn your stove on. Like, you can get a pair of pliers and turn it on, but good luck knowing how hot it is.
Yeah, that's dangerous. And, you're going to burn down my house.
For me, I'm still old. I like these things. There's people that have laptops that have the pad,
which I hate.
Jen she's on her laptop. She does the mouse pad thing, and she's fine. If I don't have a mouse to hold and move around, I can't do anything. So if somebody took my computer mouse, I would be very, very inconvenienced. Very much so.
Okay, I think those were pretty good lists.
Yeah, and I think if we add the value of them, you've gone way higher value wise, but inconvenience wise, that's a good time. So we've come to a part of the show where, I mean, this is going to be a struggle here again. Not a lot of show prep, so the Mr. Smarty Pants segment here is going to be somewhat disappointing.
I've got a trivia question for you.
Oh, cool. Well, let's hold on here for a second. It doesn't count, but there we go.
Oh, my picture.
It's not right roulette, but you have a trivia question, so
yes. So
go ahead. What do you got?
On this date in 1969, it was the final day of the Woodstock Music Festival.
Okay.
Who was the closing act?
Was it like Bob Dylan?
It was not Bob Dylan.
That feels like a terrible guess too. Wow, I have no clue.
It was Jimi Hendrix, and that's when he did his famous version of the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, no kidding. That's very cool. I just heard Jimi Hendrix on the radio 3 or 4 days ago.
Me too. When I was driving down to Hershey, the song "Hey Joe" came on one of the local Hershey radio stations.
Oh, it was Purple Haze for me. So, how about that? I had zero chance of getting that. Your trivia question today, I tried to find something relatable to the show. I forgot to look at this day in history. I do that for quick hitters sometimes, but I didn't think of that today. For you, I tried to find something that was based on the All-American list. So I typed in All-American trivia. And one of the questions that came up had nothing to do with All-American football players. It was, what is the name of the longest highway in the United States? So what highway is the longest highway in the United States?
Is it Route 66?
It is not Route 66, according to this website.
I don't know.
It is in east-west.
It's not Interstate 80, is it?
I think I would have guessed 80. No, it's not 80. It's a little less than 80.
Why? Yeah,
It's a lot less than 80, I guess.
it's in,
It goes from Boston
east-west,
to Newport, Oregon, if that helps.
ooh, that does not help.
No, it does. It's a dumb.
What is it?
Route 20.
You know, if I'd started at 1, I would have gotten that within 20 guesses.
Like, eventually, yeah. Definitely a struggle for the question. The list, I think you have a good shot at.
Okay.
I'm looking for the top 10 here, and this is again based on All-Americans. Can you name the schools that have the most Associated Press All-Americans in history?
In Division 1 only?
Yes.
Okay. Right off the bat, I'll say Michigan, Ohio State.
Michigan is on the list. Ohio State is on the list. So you got 2.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma is also on the list. They come in at number 5. So Ohio State is 3. Oklahoma is 5. Michigan is 7.
USC.
USC is 4.
Alabama.
Alabama is 2.
Did I say Texas?
No.
Texas.
Texas is 6.
Notre Dame.
I was wondering when Notre Dame was going to come out. Notre Dame is number 1. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You need 8, 9, 10.
Penn State.
Penn State does not make the list.
How about
3 historically good teams that are one is definitely below mediocre now. 2 of them, if they make the playoffs, it wouldn't be a shock, but it's more conference than anything.
How about Miami, Florida?
Miami is number 9.
How about Florida State?
Florida State is number 10. So you're just missing number 8.
Auburn.
Not Auburn. Talked about one of their quarterbacks earlier.
Florida?
Nope, not Florida.
Talked about one of their quarterbacks earlier.
Look at the All-America list right now. They have they're the first team featured there. All-purpose. I guess he was a running back in the day.
Wait, the all like the list we were just talking about.
Yep.
And it was a quarterback who had a teammate or a fellow alum.
Yeah. It was not that they did not play at the same time. They're 20 years apart.
I forget. Did I say Nebraska?
No, you didn't say Nebraska.
Nebraska.
There you go.
Okay.
I mean, that's a lot better than Route 20. Who cares about Route 20? But I also.
I bet Josh LaRock would have gotten that Route 20 question. Like that guy knew directions to every part of this country.
Or he just made it up.
That thought did occur to me.
So let's do this build your squad thing because I think this is fun. And I want to try to share my screen. So let's share. You got it?
Yes.
All right, we're going to try to close this ad because that's stupid. Okay. So, you know the drill. We're going to do quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense. And I will default to you. I'll let you go first.
All
So,
right. Let me write these
Spinner,
down so I know what I'm picking. Quarterback,
Spinneroonie. I got them written down for you.
tight end, defense. Okay.
You're going to start off with the Los Angeles Chargers. I guess I give you San Diego.
I'll take Antonio Gates.
That was actually my thought. So,
Yeah.
Antonio Gates at tight end is a great start. Spinneroonie for me, number one. Oh, my. Oh, it goes to Washington. Just, oh, boy. Um,
That's tough because for a franchise that's been around so long.
I'm going to, he didn't have his best years there, but I'm going to take him as a defensive player for his all time. I'm going to take Deion Sanders.
Deion? Yeah. That's where I thought you might go.
Either Deion or Ernest Givens. I think I could do better.
Ernest Biner.
Oh, Ernest Givens was Houston.
Yeah.
Kansas City. Got some good tight end options.
Yeah.
I got the Commanders.
I'm going to take Derek Thomas.
Derek Thomas as your defensive player. Super. Spinneroonie over here. Ooh. So now I got the Chargers, and I'm going to go old school. I'm going to take the same position you did. I'll take Kellen Winslow.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Again, just try to get the tight end off the board.
Yeah.
Now we have the top three skill positions: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and the Cleveland Browns.
I'll take Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. I actually started writing Jim down before you said it, so that's a great pick there. Now just let me get the Bears so I can take Walter Payton. Not going to happen. I'm going to have to settle for Dan Marino as my quarterback.
Settle.
So you have a quarterback wide receiver combo you need to pick.
Okay.
Come on, Carolina. Oh, there's Carolina. No, you get the Bears though. Wow. Boy, this is a problem.
Woof.
Wolf is right.
God.
Eric Kramer action.
He has the most passing yards in a single season in franchise history.
Can you take Jim Harbaugh to coach? No, he has a 10-year show cause penalty.
Boy. I'll take Brandon Marshall.
It's here I am thinking there was a receiver that played for the Broncos and the Bears that's probably the best choice here in this. Unless you want Willie Gault. So
track speed, like Olympic caliber speed.
Running back, wide receiver for me. Either way, either Minnesota or New England. We're going to take Randy Moss.
You've got me at receiver for sure.
Barely. Well, you need a quarterback right now. So,
all right.
Who is the quarterback for Tim's squad going to be? Oh, geez. Just write him down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, give me Elvis Gerback, of course.
I went with I couldn't think of the guy they got from San Francisco or from New England. Pretty boy Garoppolo.
Yeah, Jimmy G.
I guess there is a choice here between the top two.
Yeah, I'm going Montana.
Montana's, I think, the number one. But yeah, you can't go wrong with Steve Young, I guess.
A Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So my running back to go against Jim Brown. Oh gosh, it's going to be Ernest Biner. Did Washington have?
Yeah, there's trust me, there's a better option than Biner.
Oh,
Think of white afros.
White afros?
Yeah, this guy had a pretty wild white afro. Not his hair wasn't white. He was a white dude with an afro.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, John Riggins?
John Riggins.
Oh, okay. Like, I didn't know he had an afro. My first thought was Clinton Portis.
Oh, Portis. That's
But
not
I mean, I think Riggins is the is
a Hall
better.
of Famer and a Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, I think Riggins.
So, here we go. We got John Montana, Jim Brown, Brandon Marshall, Antonio Gates, Derek Thomas, and Dan Marino, John Riggins, Randy Moss, Kellen Winslow, Deion Sanders. I think in their primes, I think I have you.
I do too.
Um,
I think receiver kills me.
Yeah, well, I think Jim Brown tops John Riggins, but not at the same level that Randy Moss tops Brandon Marshall.
Yeah,
I think you probably have me. And I think Gates tops Winslow slightly.
I do too, but I think Deion slightly tops Derek Thomas.
It can't. It's hard to compare an edge rusher and a secondary guy, but yeah, at quarterback, I think it's a wash almost. But these are cool. I wanted to try to set up a baseball thing where we just picked 5 players, and like because filling out a whole lineup would be like super hard. I just didn't get the wheel built, so that'll be like a next week thing.
I was thinking it would be cool to do one where we take like the preseason top 25 in college football and build like the same way, quarterback, running back.
So hard. Oh my gosh. With college players, I know so few college players. Like I would literally have to be here on my phone on like College Reference. Like, oh, who's my quarterback from Virginia Tech? Oh gosh.
Michael Vick.
Oh, you mean like that? Okay, I think like currently right now.
Oh no, yeah, all time.
Okay. That I would have to write 136 names on the wheel.
No, we would take the AP preseason top 25 teams.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We'll see. That would be hard for me.
Or even like the 25 winningest programs in NCAA Division I history or something like that.
That might be something we look into. Sure. As far as the build your squad thing, cool build your squad logo.
Or we could do that around NCAA tournament time.
Sure. Yeah. There we go.
College basketball.
And that's right around the corner almost. Here is school's getting ready to start, so football goes fast. Amazingly.
My favorite time of year, though, like football, baseball, like
stretch run.
Getting ready to get the postseason going, and then baseball playoffs while football's going on.
And like I said before, one of my favorite events, the Little League World Series, like the end of August, while it is back to school time, and sad for teachers. Like I was talking to Jen about this. I hate the first couple days of school because the schedule is all like weird and wonky. And like I'm the kind of guy who I thrive on routine. I'm like a baseball guy. Like I'll play 162, but I got to do the same thing every day.
Yeah.
And the first couple days are just so like get back to school. Oh, we figure out this, we figure out that. The schedules are different. They're different times. The kids are changing their classes up until like the Wednesday. I just need like okay, now we can start like from day 5 to day 170. Though I'm good there to get a routine going, but the first couple days it's a mental struggle for me.
What are you going to wear the first day? Do you have your Reebok pumps all ready to go?
I have the same black shoes that I've had for 3 years. I have 3 pairs of shoes. I have a black pair of shoes. I have a bluish pair of dress shoes, and then I have my sneakers. And then I have my workout sneakers, and I have my nice sneakers. They're the exact same brand, like the $60 Nike Kohl's dad version.
Yeah.
One of them has like grass stains from playing in the yard, and they go to the gym, and then one of them is every day go to the restaurant and yeah. But for work, I have and I don't tie laces, so like
me neither.
The school shoes are like Skechers that slide the foot in.
Yep.
As far as outfits go, oh geez, What is the first shirt of the year? I don't know. It'll be a surprise. Like Thursday's the first day with kids, so I don't.
Well,
Maybe
we'll
I'll
have to
wear
hear all about it next week.
I'll wear my. I got a new Trojan marching band polo shirt to wear because Derek's in the band,
Yeah.
so I'll go with that, and then the band shirt because we have a T-shirt for band parents. That'll wear that on Friday for game one. Game one is coming up, man.
We may have hit my limit, if you know what I mean.
We are 2:45 in, so it's about that time, huh?
My bladder's like,
Let's go.
How much of this do I have to listen to?
I've stolen all of the flushies, so
looks like I'm going in the sink.
I've done that before.
I feel like I need to point out I will not be going in the sink.
Yeah, I mean,
I will go to the hardware store.
I'm not in college anymore, so the level of disgustingness has dropped a little bit. So. All right, man. By the next time we talk, it'll be high school preview. We'll talk about week one, and we got to figure out when we get our NFL predictions in, and you can tell me how many wins Cincinnati is going to get on your thing. Because when I tell you the surprise team for me, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, every time I tried that like 2 or 3 times, and I would get to like week 14, like it would refresh, and it would like get rid of all my, and I'd be like like after 3 times, I was like, I'm done with this.
Back with it. You have a good one. Go do what you got to do, and those of you out in internet land, we'll see you next week here on Super Meat.